What's up?
Hola.
I was a little worried. I couldn't hear you in the beginning. And I was like, what's up? Where is she at?
My bad.
So, forget to turn down my volume here on my watch screen. What's up, Marcus? I see you in there. What's up, brother?
Um,
Well, in a test to get to our series on the black and the on the on the man and I don't even know what to say right now. On the man and woman of the
Sonic.
black community, we're going to start with just a simple talk about friends. What about your friends? No? Okay. Oh. um,
Really,
I gotta
really,
try not
really,
to curse
really,
too. Shout
really,
out
what
to
this
Mom
will
Duke.
be.
She said some people might not like you curse. I was like, okay, but I was heated. But she was like, still try to do. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna try not to curse for my mother.
re- Um, I would like to say that friendship and male and female relationships are probably going to go outside of just a cultural situation because we all date different people. We all have friendships with different people. We all have connections with multiple races. So this is a this is probably be a little more open than just a cultural experience. This is definitely going to be a little more gender specific
Hmm.
in terms. I think I don't really feel like
Oh, you mean the yeah the whole series of topics.
yeah.
But I think that even this topic, yeah, is gender specific indeed. So I cannot see the comment
Hold on, I'm trying
to your destination. It says to all, but I want to switch it in the chat.
to. Is my chat open? Yes, it is. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Bear with us. Mm,
Oh, let me go fix something real quick while we doing this. So tell us about this. What is I know like I guess we gotta break down like our history, I think, for people. And can the question is, can we just be friends? Yes, is the
yes,
answer. Yes. And
absolutely.
there are many, 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 many examples of this in everything. And I don't see why,
Okay, I just
some
want to
people don't
know
believe it.
why did it become so taboo? Like, just for like starters, why was that ever a thing? Like, I remember when being little, and like people used to try to be like, boys over here, girls over here. Like, I I never really understood it. I guess at that age, I never really understood it. But why was that always such a thing? Why did we always have this tone, like even at that age, like kindergarten,
Kindergarten?
pre-K, kindergarten? Like why do we try to separate? Like, well, you don't go outside with them because all the girls are outside, or you come inside because all the boys are outside playing, and like there used to be like weird gender separations.
Ah,
And I think that's kind of why this is an interesting topic, because I feel like I don't really know why that was a thing, why that separation was so necessary in
hmm.
the first place.
Of kids?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Because if we always talk about babies being innocent and children having simple minds, or being able to just see things at its like raw value or its core, right? Like, how did we ever get to a point where we as adults overcomplicated it and been like, boys over here, girls over here, like, oh my God, like, don't, like, we just get so frantic and natural, because out of curiosity, we are different from each other, right?
Hmm.
So I don't know. I guess, like, and I didn't even mean to jump into this soon in the video, but it was just in my head, because I'm trying to figure out the core of why men and women being a friendship in a friendship that is platonic. Why is that such a strange ideal? When I was little, like, I didn't really go through the cootie stage. Like, I didn't go through the cootie stage. Like, I just felt like
I
those were
think,
my
I
classmates.
mean, well, if you
Those are
look
my
at our
friends.
history, there was a time in our history, like as
What was
friends,
it, cootie
where
stage?
it was like, um,
Non-platonic.
no, I'm talking about us. I'm saying like the cooties phase, like, oh, the
Right.
boys, like, oh, Matthew's coming over, like
Okay.
it was
Definitely
that
had a
definitely
little bit of a
that's
cootie phase.
all kids, that so it stems like from that. But I think it's when we change over, when the puberty happens, when we start to look at each other differently, and people are like, you start liking people early that you didn't like that way before, but they're
Right.
around. So
Right.
proximity, like, made a
Facts.
lot of this kind of a stereotype in a way, like, because of proximity, you liked who you were around for forever.
Facts.
Like, it's only
Facts.
till now, like, everybody can be connected wherever. You know what I mean? Let me
I
unplug my
don't know if
cord.
I was ever like that though. I pretty much just liked who I liked. It didn't matter if he was around or not. But yes, most people, most kids, especially, and most adolescents, it is definitely like who's in your vicinity.
Hmm.
Like, for sure. But I just never understood why everything was so inappropriate. It would be like, okay, kids naturally play house. Kids naturally play like mommy daddy with each other. They, like, I don't think about any of those things in like a adult way, because it's just natural play that comes with milestones as children. So I don't really think about it like that. I don't know. I just see people freak out about like the male female friendships even when they're really little.
Well,
And I'm
let's
just
get to yeah, I mean, there
yeah,
is a separation, like understanding, like that we're different, but as kids, we don't really see that because we don't really look too different, especially as little kids, like up
yeah,
until,
right,
preteen. We pretty
right,
much we make the kids look different just to identify them, like that's my son
right,
and not my daughter, like, you know what I
right.
mean, or that's my daughter and not my son, because you can look at them and be like, some of them you could tell, but some of
Now,
them you,
now I don't know. I just
um
said it's a cute
when
kid.
teaching kids, we know that, like going to the bathroom, potty training, things like that, that's a separate lesson. That's kind of where the separation starts, actually, I think, if they're around other children
Right,
during the process. If they're at home by
right,
themselves and they're the only child, like, I don't know. That's just the process. They know mommy goes to the bathroom, daddy goes to the bathroom. Now they teaching you how to go to the bathroom. But if you
right,
have to practice it at daycare or something like that, where girls are doing it and boys are doing it, but the girls is different, then why the girls can't? And you try, that's when it starts to set in. Like using the bathroom is kind of where it
right,
sets in. We're at home, all our bathrooms are gender neutral.
right,
We don't be like, oh, you're this, you can't go to my bathroom.
right,
We just wait for you to come out, then somebody else goes in. Like usually we're not in there at the same time, in the home. So that's the biggest difference. But that's, I think, like a piece of the puzzle right there. In the preteens in schools, they're starting to try to keep kids from experimenting sexually.
Yeah.
And so the propaganda of bad sex and all this other shit starts to get played out. And I think these are psychological things. And it's funny how we keep coming back to propaganda, which was our first show.
That's
But it's
true.
just that we're finding that the propaganda is just like we told you,
Outrageous.
false news, fake news. Like our administration right now, there is a propaganda campaign. That's all they doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so I guess let's go backwards and we can tell our friendship story, our journey.
Our origin story. Well,
Our
it
origin
was
story.
circa 1986 or
Oh, we are
so,
old.
85.
I don't even know. I don't even know.
In the
Oh.
in the auspicious neighborhood of Crestwood, located in Washington D.C. I remember it vividly as I was a young lad playing as I did out on the block. My mother down yonder watching with a eagle's eye.
And people.
On this day, I believe I was. This is the day I first remember.
Okay. This is the day I first remember. I like that.
Yes, on this day, I do believe it probably was a Sunday because I happened to be playing in a place where I saw you and another child and
Mm,
possibly a baby, maybe
mm.
not. I
Maybe
don't
not.
know.
No, definitely probably a baby.
Walking, as I know now, towards the area of the church. I said, "Oh, kids, look at these kids." Now, at this time, I had presently just moved to the neighborhood,
Mm.
back to the neighborhood with my grandparents after living down on 4th Street. Well, no, it's not 14th, or 11th and ML, where it was not what it is today, I shall say. Hookers and hoes, pimps and strolls, drugs and all types of things were abundant in that area in those days of 86. So I remember saying, "Mother, we should go to church."
Church.
But we didn't go this week. I must
Mm.
start school. I started school. There you were again at the school. I
There
am
you go.
first grade elementary school at West Elementary School, which is now a piece of dirt on the ground. Sad. I see you, and I don't know how we became friends from that point, but I remember communicating. I remember going to church
In church.
as well. That was part of my plan to be friends. Go to church, and I saw you at school,
Were we
and
in
then you were at
Sunday
church,
school?
and then yes, and Sunday school is where we became friends. And at
Hmm.
school, you were like, "Oh, you go to this school." It was like that, kind of something like that, something of that
I,
nature. I don't.
I agree with this origin story. I just also remember friends.
Well,
Matthew was my personal Urkel, okay, guys, for a little while. I used to dodge him. I used to be like, hey, get out my
oh
face.
shit, hi.
But I loved him. He just used to get on my nerves. And he still gets on my nerves. But so it would be like it was like a love-hate relationship. And we were really like mean to each other. We're still mean to each other. But it's all in love. Like like I don't we haven't really changed that much in
I did it. I
friendship.
did it today. Every week, I gotta drop my
Okay.
system.
Yeah. He doesn't have good hands, guys. Look at him. He
I
just
didn't.
drops
I
it.
didn't. I didn't put. It was sitting on its own. This was not even.
Now look, this is the crazy thing. He has a problem holding on to this phone, but give him any type of machines, artillery, anything like that, and like there's no dropsies. I don't understand. It's just a phone.
It's slippery and shit. It's got. Don't worry about that.
It's slippery.
I'm gonna put
Okay.
some grip on there, like a gun, rubber gun grips on the
Can't hold
side.
on to you get it. All right. So so is the timeline that I remember, but I also remember that like I was a very I, I guess I was like a regular 80s girly jump. Like I was a girly jump. Like I was I mean but I wasn't like extra girly. I just like the regular 80s girl stuff. And like um so boys for me, I had a brother too. So like I don't know. It I didn't really care either way. I was fine. I had male and female friends. I didn't really think about it. I had mixed parties unless it was a sleepover, and then that was just girls. But at that age, like that elementary school age, um,
It was just
my
like our.
mom let us. She didn't care. My mom didn't care.
Yeah, I think for us, elementary
We just
school
neighborhood kids. Like
was like we play who you play with, you know, and that's how it go. Like it really didn't start becoming a thing. I think like our relationship didn't even come into question until like high school,
until
maybe.
puberty, right?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
and even then, like high school, because people who knew us like at church, things like that, they knew like by then we were family already. Like everybody already knows what's going on.
Right.
Um
Exactly.
and then at school, it was kind of the same thing. It kind of adopted into that
Right.
because that's how we kind of just built it like that. I
Yeah,
just
we didn't have any issues until we was grown and out here talking to people and dating people and stuff.
right.
Like,
It's only our um relationships people that be like, so man, I think we like,
so
no,
I mean,
man,
so like, what's really happening? Like, I mean, so nothing ever happened. Like, what? I don't even like
she's
God.
ugly. Do y'all see her? No, she's
Ugly.
pretty. She's pretty.
I
You
am
can't
pretty,
say that. You can't say
but he
that.
is also ugly to me. Okay,
She's pretty,
but
but she's ugly. She's ugly, but she's pretty. She's pretty to the rest of y'all.
right, exactly.
Some of
He looked
y'all
good
in this
for
chat.
who is important to, but he looked disgusting to me. So,
But um
hello,
that was
everybody. By the way, whoever's watching this. So, for me, I had other friends that were boys too. Like we grew up in a neighborhood. So like whoever I went to school with that lived close or that could come over and kick it, that's who it was. Like that's what it was. And I've had many platonic male friendships because I had a long phase in my life where I didn't really care to be around females. Like just personally. And that's a whole nother discussion. But for me, I enjoyed being around male groups. So I had at one point I had 3 or 4 separate male groups that were multiple males in groups, and they were bros. So like, it's just I don't know. It's weird. It's like I do understand as adults why we think it is not possible to have platonic friendships, but if you don't have strong friendships of the opposite sex, you really just out here in the dark. Like, son, you are out here in the dark. Do you know how much I learned having a bunch of guys around me? Dog, I'm talking unfiltered boys. Okay, y'all, unfiltered, but boys, unfiltered
that's
information,
basically
unfiltered information that I got bestowed upon me, and then I got to go out in the world and date. Like you can't tell me nothing. Okay? trying to tell you right now. You're not gonna pull no wool over my eyes unless I let you. Okay?
We don't need to know about all your escapades.
No.
But
I'm just I'm just saying that for me, it actually, um, I openly discussed that my dad wasn't around for a while. So for me specifically, and for my sister, like we had male friends around, so it kind of, no, it's not a replacement for your dad, but for us, it kind of just helped. And then us having a little brother, it helped having males around as well. But I just get so I don't know, I get upset and kind of a little sad when people really like fight us about that, because I'm like, wow, like is this really an issue in our community, or is this in general? Like, why do we think
I
that you
think it's
cannot be
a
friends?
lot. It's
How do
a
you learn
general
from each
thing
other?
because I know a lot of people, a lot of guys that have female best friends. I know a lot of women that do have a few male best friends. It's possible. It's not that it doesn't exist. I think that now I can't say that all those relationships are even platonic though.
No, not at
Some of
all.
them flipped either
That's
way,
ridiculous to
either
think
before.
that is ridiculous to think that it would even be possible.
Right. It's like it's not going to be 100%. That's not even like a
No.
thing. So I think that part of it, like for us, we started our relationship early. Like we were very young. Our families melded. Like we started
Right.
spending a lot of time. Like we basically
We
were
got
raised
raised
together.
as a community and raised each other.
So that's why we're brother and sister, and
Right.
it feels like blood. It's not just like, oh, we just say
Right.
that or anything like that. No, it feels like blood.
No,
Like
it
I
feels
can really,
real. Right.
like more like brother and brother, because I'm the
Oh,
brother, you the brother.
okay.
Ah, gotcha. That's our little joke, guys. Don't worry about
Not
that.
worried. That's fine.
Um,
They not
so
worried.
I
They not
know.
worried.
Um,
But yeah,
so
so
the main issue I think really is men and women are attracted to each other, right? And here's a perfect person, Lily. I'm glad you're here. Perfect, right? Like timing is impeccable.
mhm,
Men and women are attracted to each other, right? But
right.
what I have learned is men do not create filters for their relationships with women. They leave it all on the table, like everybody can get it. I'm just like, if she jump out there, like, no, nigga, you can't just like, you gotta. And so, okay, so for example, for me, what I learned, like,
What?
I learned like some good shit. Like, I learned that I like working with women a lot. Right, I learned that very early. I learned that you can get a lot done. There's different strengths, things that
You like to be told what to do, all that.
women can do. All that, yeah, whatever. Um, and in production, I'm a filmmaker. I'm a live event production manager and director. And in production, women go so hard. Like almost like if you put up a graph like of the effort that women put in, not only do they put in, but have to put in because the fucking bullshit boys club in the industry, but they just put in just like so much of like almost, I'd say like 90% of the women like overachieve, you know what I mean? And then guys kind of just do, you got guys that overachieve and are above average, but most of them just like, I can get in and just do some stuff and work, whatever. Like women, there are not a lot of women that are like that in the industry. That's why I love every woman in the industry. Shout out to you. Hopefully we get back to work soon. You got to get back to making money. Um, so with that, like I started working with women a lot, right? And I learned, I said, I like to, when I find a woman, she may be beautiful, like attractive, like we hit different things that we may be attracted to each other about, but our work starts to come out really well, or our work is like we have the same mindset in business and in production or something like that, that I
Mm,
said, you know what, let me um not be a man that puts everybody on the table, but put people in a box where that is like, this is a great business relationship. This is a great friendship. This is a great, like, and then I've began to build friendships with women over time that are genuinely platonic, that are genuinely um, good for just building, and they've come to like be the best relationships. Like some of them have helped me get projects and things like that off the ground and just like bring a big push like in other countries where it's just like having those relationships really worked out. And if we would have like stepped on the line and jumped out of that platonic zone where there may have been
Mhm.
situations that it could with certain people in my life, that if we did that, it could have messed up how our business relationship evolved later on, or
Right.
we were able to come back later and do something together, like things like that are other reasons why like putting everything on the table is not a good idea for
Well,
men. And that's why I think you were saying, I want to point at the lopsidedness of like, I think guys can do it, I think women can do it a lot more than guys.
uh-oh, wait a minute. You broke up. What'd you say?
I broke up. I said, when it comes down to the balance, like I think guys more the majority of the time are putting everything out on the table, like laying it all out there. And
Mm.
women already create those branches, like, maybe I'm gonna put him in this box and see if he doesn't say
I
anything
mean, yeah, we have
stupid,
the ability
and then
to
he can
friend zone.
move to this box.
Yeah,
Right?
we
Because
have
for
the
us,
ability
it's
to.
like he's cute, he's smart, he may be something, but I may need to just friend him
Well, no,
because
I mean,
he say something
we
stupid.
definitely, we
Whatever.
definitely have the, we have a little more of a ability to shut things down or progress things. Um, but I don't know. I just feel like I guess it's disheartening when I see men and women go back and forth about this conversation because I'm like, it's almost like the idea of the fact that we even think that every man and every woman is going to be attracted to each other. Like that's unrealistic. That is the craziest, it's the most ridiculous thing ever in the world to ever think that. And it's so like, well, why wouldn't like so you trying to tell me that out of 10 dudes, you trying to get with all them like can't none of them be your bros? Like that's crazy to me to even think that that is how people think. The fact that we've even had to my thing is this, we've known each other our whole lives. So for anybody to even question that at this point is ridiculous. Like, why would we even be out here wasting time in life if that was the case?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for anyone to question our actual personal friendship is hilarious to me. But when I look at other friendships that I've seen where I've really seen like male and female friendships, like that, those friendships are can be daunting just because that male female juxtaposition is exhausting. But I have seen those people create better relationships with their mates because they have those close friendships that they have a woman they can go to and ask advice about their wife. They have, a guy they can go to and ask about all the crazy men in their lives. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
They,
now we get to the
you
juice. Now we get to the dirt.
know,
All
I
right.
feel like how would you even serve? Like this is why it's hard for me to even like I can't even date men who have never really been like platonic friends with any female at some point in their life.
Okay.
Because
So
I'm
now
like,
this.
oh no, we gonna have an issue. Like you gonna have too much ego. Like you're not gonna understand women. You only understand what you think you understand from your mother and your sister. Like, mm-mm, that also means you don't know how to keep your boundaries.
Now, this is there we go. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of why a lot of platonic relationships are not platonic because when it comes down to the truth, they gonna not be honest. The honesty
Right.
and truth and telling you about your freaking self
Right.
because you don't want them.
Right.
Now, there's the it can go both ways, but that's when it gets tricky because some people are faking, and that's what I'm talking about. Like dudes do put people in the category, but I think that for the majority of them, I'm just responding to Sanford and Son. Um, I think for the
Uh,
majority, a lot of men do leave things open because it is harder for us, but in certain ways. So I think guys think like I just got to have all my options open, like But I think building positive relationships that can be platonic can bring you an abundance of mates that you can possibly try and court and date or whatever is your preference of nomenclature and whatever wordage. But being real, like this is when the relationship gets tested, like when you go through shit or being
right.
honest about like your real shit. Like any person that I've ever been attracted to and been like, you know what, I think I would put them on the table if there was an
Right.
opportunity. I let them know up front. Like
Right.
I'm not platonic, like you could get it basically. I don't say it like that, but it's like, but I'm not coming at you either. I'm not like
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But it's just being honest, like your real shit. Like
Hold
any
on.
person that I've ever
Ah,
been attracted to and been like,
ah,
what the fuck is
I would.
that?
Too long.
I was like, turn it down.
God, it wouldn't
I
stop.
start
Okay.
hearing
Anyway.
myself. I say, what did I do? I don't like my voice now.
Yeah. Sorry. My
Um,
bad. Nah. You right. I mean, it's. I don't know. It's
it's
so
a
it. I know why it gets complicated. I understand that, and also like when you grow up with um when you kind of like when you grow up a certain way, I feel like the age thing comes at different times. So like if you are growing up with boys at a younger age, I feel like those relationships can be weird because you're going through an actual like growing phase of yourself.
right. Like at one point you may not know what you like, and then and
Right,
another time you like now I like boys or girls, and
right,
then you like, do I like these boys or girls? They're right,
right.
and that's the proximity that we
And people
talked
grow
about.
out of things. Like there are absolutely men that I maybe had an interest in earlier years, and then at some point I figured myself out and was like, ugh, I don't like him like that. Like that's my bro, that's my best friend, or that's my, like I definitely have men around who we kind of grew up, you
Mhm.
know, around each other and saw shifts and things like that. And so, yeah, I can see how that can happen. And there still is innocence in that. I think that we just don't have a lot of innocence in our thinking.
Right, and
And
that's
there's
what I
innocence
talked about.
in those things.
Like when you first meet someone, we're not saying, okay, right now, boom, we're gonna be platonic. Like you can't do that all the time. Sometimes you have to build and to get to know the person and like, and maybe it's not that you're even attracted, like you're trying to go at them or anything like that, but it's just trying to make a friend. And you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
perfect example. Um, when I met Lily, are you still here? You're coming into the story. When I first met Lily, we were at school in Atlanta. We was
What
on
was
the
that?
yard. Okay, it was her and what's her Vanya? Is that her name? Yeah, Vanya, and I think somebody else was with her. I think it was another girl, somebody sitting, but they weren't really like. But her and Vanya, right? I'm with somebody, and like we're talking to them. What's up, Maria? Um, and we come up to them like she know one of them or something like that. When I first see her and the girl, they're all attractive women. Okay, I didn't
Mm.
say this one right here in the middle, the short one, um, she's gonna be my sister. She's gonna be like we're gonna be platonic friends, and we're gonna like. I didn't know her at the time. I didn't know what we were gonna be. I thought she was cool. Then I found out she was from home. I was like, oh shit, you from home? Like, what's up? Like, of course we cool with everybody from home when you away from home at school, shit
Right.
like that. So we built a friendship on that. Our friendship grew. Like I wasn't it wasn't that she's not attractive and I wasn't attracted to her. It was that we just started to build our friendship in a different way. We hung out, like we hung out with the bros, we hung out with folks. I was going at other people at, you know what I'm saying? Like I had interest, like, but not to say that it couldn't have gone the other way because that's not in the cards as we see now, but it's just like giving an example. What's up, Maria? Of
Right.
letting that relationship grow and then getting to understand like is this a person that because I'm attracted to women. I love women. If you look pretty and shit, you pretty. Like if you're gonna say who could get it, Matt'll be like all of them except for her. I don't
Right.
know.
Is, is Melvin still on here? Because I saw Melvin on here. Melvin is a good example. It didn't start out platonic, but we ain't never did nothing. Like, but I mean, as far as like, we met each other in our freshman year of college on College Club. So College Club was like the bait. Like that was all the bait. That was you was bored. That was the first online dating. Okay. Um, you could only be on that jump if you was in college. You had to have a college, email and all that, right? So I met my homeboy Melvin, and we like tried to talk to each other. We tried to talk to each other. Yep. We tried to talk to each other and stuff like that. But like, look, I was green. He was wild. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. I was I was super green. I was a virgin. I was green, y'all. Okay. And that's scary. Just a scary human. Just scary human all the time.
Scared as shit of everything.
He would be like, "I'm gonna fly you down to Florida." I'd be like, "I ain't trying to get kidnapped and die." You know what I'm saying?
Good girl, so green, so green.
And
She
and then
was she could have been taking trips and shit. Fuck it
right,
up.
but see, he was also like probably offering that to like 80 other jumps at the time,
Nigga
and
was in
so
college. Nigga was like,
and
if I could
so,
do it, I'm gonna
so
do it.
Koya was a different Koya
Which
then.
one's coming?
Don't do that. Koya was a different Koya then. Like I was very I was a little judgy. I was super religious. I was a goody two shoes, like all that.
Like
And
shit.
and so eventually like we just stayed in touch. Nothing ever went down. Um not for because I ain't try because he was scary too. And so it was both and then it eventually just turned into like, yo, we like bros out here. Like we not like I'm about to be out here giving you all the advice for these jumps, and I'm about to come to you when I'm pissed at these dudes. Like, and that's pretty much what it evolved into was like, what's up? You trying to hook me up with somebody? You trying to hook me up with somebody? Like, what's up? So it eventually became a real friendship and a platonic friendship. And that wasn't, it sparked because like we might have been interested in each other, but nothing, it just didn't, wasn't in the cards. So it was just basically kind of watching it like how a friendship can evolve even in that age. That was what we were 18. And so it's and we're still friends to this day. And I think it just makes me sad to think that there's just so many people who do not have anyone they can call who could possibly gauge them or give them some type of comfort for that other perspective. It's just super important for our growth.
Right. And I
Oh,
think
that's
that's
okay. It was my business, Melvin. You'll be all right. I'll send you a check later.
Hey, Slim. But that's the whole
You
thing. Like
young.
we're talking about growing relationships, and I think that's the biggest point of this whole talk is building relationships properly. Like, can we be friends? Yes, if you build the relationship properly. Some relationships are built naturally into that point. Like ours started so young and natural that it just grew into this, and it just been what we only know. You and
Can
Melvin's,
you be a friend? Can you be friends with an ex?
yes.
Agreed. But there are many people who disagree with that.
This is that real this the thin ice on the line on the side of the cliff
It's
on
so
top of a bridge.
tricky.
Like
It's so tricky.
like this the one that gets
So tricky.
people is, can you be platonic
It's
friend,
platonic.
platonic,
Like not offering your body
no
parts
Lamont
anymore.
Sanford,
No,
platonic.
right. But he has actually done that multiple times actually
Yes,
with
I
people.
understand. I'm just being specific.
No, yeah, right. Okay. So, right. So,
Let me stop messing with you. Say yes. He no. I get it though. I get where that yes is. I wish I could see his face.
ooh, not me. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
That's funny. No,
So,
but you could be friends like you are, and just to, I'm just pointing that out because
no,
it's
but
there.
that's real because I think that it makes okay. Here's the thing: when you break up with somebody that you have feelings for, that you have an investment in, I'm not talking about flaky relationships, y'all. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
You on that
a real
line though?
somebody, huh?
Keep talking. It's a joke.
So anyway, so basically, when it's a relationship that you actually like, y'all together, y'all was kicking it, right? And then y'all break up for whatever reason. If you did not burn a bridge, like I'm not a bridge burner, okay? I try very hard not to burn bridges with anyone. So for the most part, I can pretty much be friends with anybody I've ever dealt with. Um, like that's the gist of it for me because that's the boundaries that I set for myself, but also because if I've ever been in a situation with you, a friendship, at some point I cared about you, I got love for you. So the reality of it is you don't stop caring about people, bro. Like you don't stop caring about people. So but you can absolutely not have that attraction to them anymore. You can just care about that person, you know,
Absolutely.
and be cool with them because you've invested time, just in that other human.
I think
Um,
in maturity as well, like being mature about certain situations in life,
and transparent.
um, transparency, and then creating. I think there could be platonic zones actually, because I think you could be friends with somebody that you know that you're friends with, like y'all definitely are gonna know each other throughout life, type of thing. Like you've built that relationship, but there may have been zones where you all were on your own path and you can maintain a friendship that does not interfere with other relationships and things like that, even though there could have been platonic and non-platonic zones, I call them. That's a whole complicated thing. You got to
Platonic
be
and non-platonic zone.
zones. Yes, that's a whole nother, that's
No,
reaching
I want
outside
to
the
know.
box.
No,
You can
no.
get down with that. You could go
You
outside the box.
introduced it. I want to know what that means for real. What does that mean?
What if they weren't as interested in you? Do you
That's
still want to be friends with
very
them since it
interesting.
was a reason you guys broke up?
Uh,
I think that's built on your relationship. Um, do you still want to be friends with them?
oh, if that's the reason that you broke up
Mm,
because
that's
they
gonna be
weren't.
tough.
That's it. Oh, now see, that's a. I got an answer for that.
Hmm.
You shouldn't have nobody in your life that's not as invested as you are.
Hmm.
Period.
Hmm. I'm not saying you don't got to be an asshole and a jerk
Right.
to them though.
But they ain't gotta
Like
be in your
I
space.
get on the unicorn all the time because she's so nice. And Madia, you so nice. So I know you. I know y'all are very actually energy wise and your niceness to the world, y'all on the same level. Like y'all love people. Y'all, I mean, you know what I mean? Like y'all are
That's
not
a
gonna
hard one
ever.
for me to do. It was real easy for me to tell you that advice, but it is very hard to do.
So in saying that, I understand that like my sister, you all care. Yeah, you care. You all just y'all are empaths. You know, you all care about people more than the world, more than others, and more than even some of them care about themselves. So you're never going to stop caring. Being their friend platonically, I think it's possible if they're open to that. Maybe the reason they weren't invested is because that was for the reason for y'all to become friends, maybe.
I mean,
um,
I find that is more difficult if the female breaks up with the male. It is more difficult to pay probably save to save that friendship until that male is ready. You really can't. That that one is a difficult one. Females have a tendency if the male doesn't like dip off in a crazy, even if they broke up with them, like females have a tendency to just kind of accept that a little more as well.
mhm.
That's the best way I can explain that. Like, I mean, and I think it's just a nature thing. Like,
Yeah,
um,
like people have that, and you're right about, and people have like this thing about, uh, what is the word? Not property, but
I'm not nice.
possessiveness.
Hold up,
You know,
hold up,
he messing with
hold
us. I
up. I'm the
know.
nicest human in the world. Okay,
Sometimes, Sanford,
but I mean, I have boundaries. I have to protect
um,
myself. Point.
people have a lot of possessiveness
Right, possessive.
out here in our conditioning from that Euro colonistic patriarchal psychological warfare that we're using now. This is my term for where it comes
Right,
from, specifically in our community.
right.
So that's where taking people's kindness for weakness is. Just because you kind don't mean you weak, Koya. Just because you kind, Mardia, don't mean you weak. Because we know
Y'all
you're
know
not.
I ain't.
You know
No,
what I'm
I ain't
saying?
weak.
But like you said, subconsciously people kind of use that. Like she's nice. She's not gonna say nothing. But you're just playing with your own karma and negative energy. Just because they don't say nothing doesn't mean that they don't feel something and they may not put that energy out, which is still going to affect you. They may not say nothing though. They may let you be because they're not going to try to cause drama.
Drew said he needs to be the third Falcon. Oh, what you gonna talk about?
We can add you in soon. We can add you
Ooh, what you gonna talk about?
in.
But no, but what was and look, as we're talking about friends and exes, I'm speaking cross corner speaking to one of my exes who is also my friend. But and just to say that, like we started off as friends. We started off as friends and eventually got involved with each other and then went about our lives and then reconnected and actually seriously dated and we're friends. So it's like for me, he wasn't somebody I was willing to be like, well, I ain't gonna be cool with you no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's not like that. Like, but for the most part, for me personally, the reason I feel so strongly about the male female relationships and friendships is because I pretty much only talk to and date men that I still would be friends with.
Right. And I don't know if I'm switching the if I'm going on a tangent, but I wanted to, how I always try to bring in like our main topic of propaganda media and things
Yeah.
like that because that's our
Oh,
specialty.
because that's a whole issue.
I was about to say, loving
Don't
fucking
out here
basketball.
lying
Excuse
and
my language, ma. I'm sorry, I
calling
cursed. Gosh
calling
darn it.
dudes calling dudes your bro and stuff, and then you smashing them on Love and Hip Hop, and then he supposed to be your
Okay,
brother.
but let's go back in
That's
our
the
community
propaganda.
or even in other movies, in other communities. How about like Love and Basketball or these movies where like That's why people ask us the questions they ask us for so many years, because they've been watching this movie and this guy and this girl keep going back and forth for 25 years trying to be together, but then they play we best friends and then they not best friends. Like, come on, man, y'all, what? Like that type of stuff in the media, different types of movies and things like that that influence our thinking starts to
Right.
put those in. Like you said, reality shows really fucking it up. It's, oh gosh, I'm sorry, my oh man, I'm just trying, I'm trying. We can't bleep it, but reality shows really messing it up. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to curse y'all. I'm most days don't care. I'm trying. I'm
I mean,
gotta.
I haven't even cursed yet.
Oh man.
So no, but go ahead.
um,
We could use any of the television shows we grew up with,
we'll come and do that, Melvin. No problem.
like any of the even
Virtually.
any of the television shows that we kind of grew up on. I always paid attention to like the male female
Oh man,
in
you
like
broke up.
90s
Okay.
shows. What can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're clear now. All right.
Okay. So yeah, so some of the like the 80s and 90s shows showed how friendships can be platonic, how they can evolve, and then it's like something happened in the media, and this things started like back then. The '90s shows, it was nothing but male and female relationships that were platonic. It was a lot of co-ed
Mhm.
interactions, and then something shifted,
And they
and,
started like at some point in some
and
and
everybody was in love with their best friend.
yeah, like there was a shift and that changed. So I think that's a big
I
key that
blame
we
it
gotta look at.
on I blame it on brown sugar
Yeah,
and loving back
all
and
those
loving back.
all those films, and there's other ones on all the cultures, like they start bringing like, oh, this maybe this is the person you're meant to be with because y'all are such good friends, y'all known each other. Like who else are you supposed to be with? It
Then
brings
it's
back
like, oh, it's soulmates. But
it's
here's the thing: soulmates can be platonic. They can be
right.
your family members. They
And
can be
that's
your
what it is,
friends,
not understanding
siblings.
what a soulmate is, what a twin flame. Like you don't always have to be together for it to be that. Like, and the other thing about that, those films, and just like that mindset, it created this conditioning that we start to play out. Like, oh, is this my soulmate? And it brings in that proximity thing. So it's two factors. It's uh playing the soulmate card, playing the I don't know what this is I'm doing.
I don't
Playing
know.
the soulmate card, and then playing the proximity card. Like you're still around. Maybe
Right.
you're my soulmate. You put those two together, it's a boom, a movie relationship.
No, that's real. And I understand why they did that because there are some friendships that should absolutely evolve to that. Absolutely. There are some friendships that are meant to evolve into that type of situation. Um, I just don't like that there's so much mistrust that has been there's so much mistrust between the genders right now. I feel
Mhm.
like, and it's
Mommy,
just so. Go ahead, mommy. What?
mommy brings up a good point that plays on the trust factor.
Personality
um
and
Talking about the personalities and proximity in life can absolutely have platonic relationships. However, they can have some um
oh, I know
that
exactly what
cannot be. It's and that's right. Like, and this is going in to talk about what they talked about on
boundaries. Use boundaries.
boundaries on, like, this is good because they just talked about this with Jada and all them. Like it
I just
goes
watched
into shit,
that as
it
well.
goes
I
into
just
stuff
watched
like
it.
that
I just
because
watched
it's like at a certain time it's not anything, but at a time of need it becomes something else, and that's a whole nother psyche. And that's when we need to bring Dr. Shani Glaude back on. Like whenever we want to talk about something when it gets to the mind, Dr. Shani Glaude is our resident psychologist and expert in all subjects of psychology, and I think that's going to be something we need to do soon, is
well
really
here,
talk
but
on that.
here's the why I think it's so important. So for me, I'm always talking about the balance that we need as masculine and feminines within ourselves. And people only see that as gender. It is not. It's an energy. It's your energy. It's just the idea of like the yin yang. We have to have a certain amount of balance of masculine and feminine energy within ourselves
Hmm.
to be the type of human being we are really supposed to be. And I do not think that you can successfully do that if you haven't been exposed to anything else other than your own views and your family views. If you haven't been exposed to how the other gender thinks, if you only are dealing with your experiences, you are not decoding how these men think. I'm telling you that right now, and you are not decoding how these women think. I'm telling.
Hmm.
Nope. Uh-uh.
No, you
Me
need
and Matthew,
outside
me and Matthew
experience.
literally are the king and queen, okay, of self-help books and bouncing stuff off each other for another perspective.
We ruined it
It
already, Mardia. It went down. Like, go watch it anyway. I ain't watching it yet. I just read the article and I seen a piece of it. I
wasn't
ain't
that
finished
long.
it.
It
It's
wasn't
not
that
long.
long. They didn't say a whole lot
No,
um
it
at
just talked
all.
about the situation, which is
It was
important.
real.
It was talking about like what we're
It was a
talking
real
about:
progression.
psychological need, physical need that feeds your psychological needs. Sometimes if we're not feeling love when you need, sometimes you need a hug, and sometimes that hug got other energy attached to it, and you
Yep.
need more than that. There's a lot when it comes down to relationships, and this is why having a platonic friend that is
Yeah.
of the opposite sex or same sex and all that, like, it goes all ways. Like, if you're a same sex person, then listen, you need a platonic friend of that as well. It goes
Right.
like so that you can
But it also
discuss.
it keeps you balanced. Like I'm off balance if I haven't been around testosterone for a while. Like, and I'll just be like, I'll just call Matt and talk to him for a second. Like, and then he got more than enough testosterone to just balance you out for a second.
"Hmm, yeah,
So,
man."
but
It's
but
like,
for me, like I can tell the difference. Like, I spoke to him about that when we started working with the band. I was like, oh, so much test. Like it was a lot for him because he didn't have any feminine balance to balance his testosterone. But for me, it fed me. So it's really about that balance. It's really, and so like when we as females, when we feel more aggressive to men, when we feel more assertive to men, when we feel more independent to men, that is usually our masculine sides kind of overcompensating because we are in a space that maybe we are not allowed to be our softer feminine balance because maybe we have a person who's not feeding us the other half of that, right? But that is why you have to balance that within yourself. And that's when we see those lopsided friendships. That's when we see those lopsided relationships. That's when we see that really hardcore, like people going at each other and getting real toxic. Because every time you see male and females get toxic, they're getting toxic because they both got male energy going at you. It's that masculine energy, just boom, boom, boom. If they're both over emotional, that's the feminine energy just clashing because there's no balance. You have to have that balance. But having a male or female friend who is platonic, that you can really get that balance, like it can save your relationships. Like to be able to have those people around you that know you that well.
"What's up, Lily? You missed our story."
So for me, it's just really healthy to be able to have access to the way they think, period. You don't need a
Right.
book. Go get you a best friend of a different
But
sex.
this
Then you
also
good.
comes to play of proximity. If you don't have a good friend that has the right mindset, you're not going to get the right information. And then you still screwing about doing the most. But at least you try.
Right,
So,
right,
the answer to the question, yes, we can be friends, but it's about building relationships. Now, it's all good, Lily. I told a story about when I first met you in
right,
Georgia, like how we became friends, and like, because we were talking about how all you don't know where relationships go when you first meet somebody. You don't know if you're going to be over on this side, over on that side, up here, down here. Like you don't know.
Do
It's
you
just
have a
about like
reaction,
building
Matthew?
properly. Hmm?
Do you have a reaction when you meet a girl, a female, who it's got to be a specific type of female. When it's a female who we would say, I guess the rest of the world would think was attractive, right?
Hmm.
Not necessarily high maintenance or anything like that, just societal beauty, I guess. Would you Do you think men would feel more reluctant to that woman having male friends around than they would someone who looked different from that person?
Can you repeat that? I lost it. Like it was
Like
something.
a 10, what we would call a 10, okay? The junks you're not allowed to talk to. The If they came in and said, "These are my best male friends, like here's my
I can
crew,"
talk to you tens. I don't know what she's talking about. You can come on.
not
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. You got to get past her though.
uh,
Good luck.
you
Good
better be a
luck.
10 on the inside.
Good luck.
You better be a 20 on the inside and a 10 on the
I'm
outside.
rooting for you though, tens. Come on. It works. Enemies necessary.
So a what we would call a commercial bad joke, right? So like, do you think men are more reluctant to believing that they have platonic male friendships? Do you think it depends on what the girl looks like?
Sometimes for men, yes, definitely. Because we
Mm.
know that men are attracted physically just off break. Everybody's attracted physically first, but ours is just a little bit heightened in how we go about things. We don't even think about mind most of the time because we're retarded, because we're crazy. So, um, yes, it does because we know that an attractive woman, and this goes down the scale actually. If we think that you're attractive, you're beautiful, and we know other men will in some way, or how you put yourself, how you may just that shit was good. How you may be as a person.
What?
Don't worry, because you caught me and I said nope. I said, watch what you say. Oh man. Guys are stupid. Keep saying this, and they gonna think that every dude trying to get with you. I have this problem a lot because I am friends with a lot of pretty women, including you. That's why I get questioned a lot. They like, well, she's pretty. She's ugly to me. To me, to the rest of these dudes, yeah, she a bad jump. But to me, she's just Koya. Okay, she's Koya. She's a beautiful woman inside and out. You know, that's all I can see. But it's
I
how
just
we get.
I just think
So
it's
I don't think I think men. I think women are like that with men that are extremely
I think
attractive as well.
I asked that question because I think I have more of a difficulty. See, I don't because I know how men think, but I know that most women would not like if their dude had a bad best friend that's female. I know that it don't matter. So
It
I'm
don't
a
matter.
question.
What
I
you
might
talking
ask about
about, Lee? A lot of men
the
think that about me. I think what about? Oh, you think you? I think she joning. She trying to be.
wait. I've met a lot of
Trying to be
men that say if BS males can't be friends, we must have smashed before. Right. No, all facts.
Emotional maturity.
Everybody I've ever talked to always is like, but that's why I'm so transparent too. Like they pretty much know what's up because I'm super transparent when I date people because they do have those questions. Men just assume if all these men are around you, then you have smashed all these men. And I'm like, who got time to do that?
Hmm. It is about maturity, emotional maturity.
Oh, emotional
And
maturity. is
how
super important.
secure both parties are.
Right.
I've been with people who accuse me of doing all types of
Shenanigans.
shenanigans, and I am not that guy. Sorry to disappoint ya, but I am not that guy. So what
Nor
do I?
is he a multitasker when it comes to that either.
Nope.
He's
If you
just
got
not.
my attention, you got my attention, and you good. But like but
Also, male and female
insecurities
friendships can
play
be
a part in that.
your best wingman. Okay? If you are a male and you got a female best friend, that's your permanent wing woman. Okay? Trust
Sometimes,
me
because
that.
sometimes she don't let all
Oh,
she
unless
don't let the
I
tens
block.
in. She don't
I
let
might I might block.
they be like she's a 10 man. They be like,
Gary might tell me to tell Matthew not to talk to that junk, and then I will sabotage it. I will do that. But he may not know I'm sabotaging it. I just do it in spirit and energy.
that goes all side. I agree, Lamont.
He'll just
It be
disappear.
cruise.
You might not get the whole crew. You might hit at least one or two, maybe. Hate this guy.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree with all that. I agree. Okay, let's see.
you have
Difference in
security
everyone
boundaries.
versus
People
how you
should know.
interact with your mate. Okay. So Stacy's talking about how um like the energy you carry around a certain
Absolute.
people.
Woo,
That
that's a thing.
that plays, see now this is
Woo,
what, if there
woo,
are no insecurities, it's
woo.
going
That
to
right
create
there.
some suspicion because
Oh,
a non insecure person is not have a problem with your relationships like me. But when the energy shifts and there's
that
something
energy.
sketchy, it's like,
You can't lie through that.
are you telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth? So help you whatever you believe in.
But Matt, that's why we get so mad though, because we don't carry that energy. Everybody sees how we interact with each other and have always interacted with each other that way. That's why we get irritated when we get questioned because our energy never gives you that energy.
Never.
Now,
But that's what I'm saying. An insecure person is going to have that
regardless,
mindset, or somebody who has super boundaries on that or walls up because of trauma. That's what I'm gonna call 'em. I'm not gonna call them insecure. I'm gonna call them post-traumatic dating syndrome, whatever.
and legally, you're right. A lot of people are messy. Absolutely, absolutely. That's really why the male female friendship thing got tricky because people are messy.
Hmm.
People are messy. People are messy. Period.
Hmm.
And it does kind of take away from having to like. I just don't like defending my friendships with people. I don't like that. Like I don't like having to do that because you just think. Like if it's just based on the fact that you think men and women should can't be friends, I don't want to have a conversation. If it's based on some real information, then that's different. But if it's based on just the fact that you don't believe in a male and female relationship and friendship, then nah, I'm done. I'm not
And
going to
that is, I agree with Stacy, is a learned unhealthy behavior. Lily says she doesn't hang out with exes or ex flames or anything. That's a
Yeah, we know, Lily. You just
that's a
they gonna
personal choice.
everybody's gone.
That's a lie, though. So we'll go to
That
that.
is a lie.
But
That is a
whatever,
lie.
whatever. They're still current. They're still current. I consider it still current. So that's what we'll call it. They not an X until they all the way X. Once they all the way X going, they gone. Do they still got some sliver of currency? Then she'll talk to us. Like, let me stop pulling your card. But this is what we talking about. We talking about that. Where do you draw the line? Some people have
Where
to
do you
start.
draw? Where do
Some,
you draw the line though? Where do you be like, this is my ex, and now we cannot hang out no more because this is my ex, but we can hang out now? How do you know? You just have to have. I just have to have a conversation. I mean, me personally, I have that. We
and
have
is
to have.
there a time limit? Because can you be an ex and have and be cool,
Oh, can you and your
and
exes be around you and your new mate?
that is a whole, see, that goes in, that's the breakdown of a whole nother platonic type of thing, because I was going to ask the question also of, is are the like romantic relationships that grow from these long platonic friendships that were platonic for so long, and then they get married and all this shit. Like, what do you think about that? Like, I think that's a great thing if that's what they like. I think there was some underlying shit always, but they didn't address it. So that's
Mhm.
my thing for that. But um yeah, the X's with the X's has to be that's super maturity. That's like everybody got to be on a super high maturity level that the trust is so deep. Like, y'all good. Like, I trust. Like, if you telling me everything good, I don't give a fudge. Okay, I don't give a fudge. Like, if everything good, whatever. But if it's some sucker stuff going on, oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really definitely depends on the situation for sure. What bridges were burned?
I agree with
Okay,
Stacy. I'm friends with my exes too, and if you can't be my friend, then you just can't respect that. Like, and that's what I'm talking about.
facts.
I
Like
that's what I'm
if
talking about. The
right,
platonic, non-platonic boundaries.
like
There's got to be another word for that. What do we call
I
that?
say relationship, our romantic relationship, our connection that way is off the table. But I would like to, for us to continue our friendship. But sometimes you're right that sometimes they can't listen to their boundaries. Sometimes they can't, but sometimes they just remove themselves, and sometimes they come back. But you got to be transparent about that because this is where people mess up when you start swelling about your own feelings,
Oh,
male or female. That's where it gets messy when one party's swelling. And that is also where I think other people who are in relation with people who have those type of friendships, that's where it gets tricky because they might be picking up somebody else's energy. You know what I'm saying? Like we get pissed because we know that's not there. That's their insecurity, right? But we have been around many of people who we know is like, oh, nah, one of y'all.
right, and that's what I'm saying. Lily made a great point to that because we talked about that earlier, Lee. When if it was like you have experiences where it's tried, like you don't want to be associated with these people, so that's why you're not friends with them. If it's that kind of situation, of course not. We talked about that earlier. Like, it's got to be like a mutually beneficial, like, release of our energy between each other, but we're still cool.
Right,
Um, in this place and time, like the time is no longer for us, kind of
right.
thing.
Julian said, "Yeah, I think you can if you and the ex are cool, and if they are not looking at each other like that, and a new boyfriend is cool with that." Yeah, I mean,
And that's what I talk about. Every
yeah,
party
but all parties
ever
got to be good with it.
gotta have maturity and understand, like, we just like, you know, and that's
All
how it
parties.
has to be. That goes back to like the traditional relationship mindset. Because I'm
Ah,
also going to say that the
woo.
question that we asked is, can we just be friends? We should just be friends before anything else anyway. Even if you are sex friends,
Yep,
okay?
yep.
You should be friends.
You should
Not
be
just
friends.
fucking a random person just like you don't know anything, I don't talk like y'all should be friends. Like,
I
I don't think there's
agree.
anything wrong with that because it takes communication and maturity to be in those types of relationships and do them
Absolutely.
properly and safely, which is a big
Lily,
part.
I agree.
Safety.
Being a
This
friend
is
is
why
so
all this is up a question
Lily,
because of safety and um
Lily said being a friend is so much deeper than a relationship. And that is why I get so upset because let me be careful, but I do value my family right now in the age I am, okay? And where I am, and because I am single, I value my friendships much more than I do relationships because I haven't been invested in anybody that long. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not technically invested in anyone right now. So for me, when someone threatens me and Matthew's friendship and relationship, I don't like that because I'm like, nah, I value this so much more. So when you question it, I'm gonna come at you crazy, and I'm gonna turn into a shark, and then I'm no longer gonna be a little Pisces, and then I get upset.
right. Yes, friends are relationships. Yes, everything that you every interaction is a relationship that you're having with somebody else if you're dealing with them on a continuous basis for a purpose, business relationship, whatever. Like Stacy said, define it from the beginning. We talked about this early in the talk, Stacy,
Mm-hmm.
that I identify if I like I was saying, like majority of guys will put people on the table. Like everybody's on the table for majority guys. For me, it's not like that. But if there is a point that I feel like if there is you're on the table, like I would maybe explore that. I may not be like trying to do that at this moment, but it's
Right.
available. I'm gonna make it apparent. Like, no, this is not platonic, but like we can still move like that because I can move platonic. I can move without being intrusive on anything else, but no, like I'm attracted to you. Like I think our mindsets are cool. If there was a possibility, maybe we could go out at some point,
Mm-hmm.
but let's be friends first. Let's just
Right.
like I'm letting you know. But if there's like, and I use Lily and I's relationship now that you back on here, like when we first met as the perfect example. When I first met her, it was just three women. It was really two, but then another one y'all were talking to, and they
Right.
were all beautiful women. I didn't
Right.
say at that moment, this is my sister Lily, and I'm blah 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 blah. Like we're gonna be best friends forever. Like I didn't say that. I didn't know that. I didn't know, like they're all attractive. I don't know what's going on. I didn't date any of them. But the point is,
Right.
you don't go into anything first off. Like sometimes you do. Sometimes
Like
you're like,
that's it.
I want to talk to that person right there. But
Right.
sometimes it's just we just met. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hold on. I was reading something.
Yeah, lots of comment.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Friends are absolutely a form of a relationship. Everything we do is a relationship with someone. You have a relationship with your boss. You got a relationship with your family members. You have a relationship with your friends. Like they are all relationships. That's why I don't know why we hone so much on what, you just got to define what type of relationship it is.
Hmm. Relation. Yes. Any type of dependency on
Mm,
your dependent relationships where you depend on somebody, they have that's where the drama comes in because you're some type of livelihood is bottled up in there.
mm,
I think friends can depend on each other but shouldn't. I have friends that I depend on if I really really need something, but they're out living their life. We don't even
mm,
worry about each other that much. I know that's my friend, that's my bro, like, you know what I mean? We
mm.
talk when we need to, but we don't depend on each other. We're not like, I gotta be with my folks. Like street dudes be like that. They depend on each other. They be like, I gotta be with my niggas. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be
Right,
out here. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go. Like they ain't never leave. And it was a point in time in my life that those types of dependencies existed, even in relationships with women.
absolutely,
But I think
absolutely.
that as you mature, that to build any type of relationship, you cannot be dependent. You need to be dependent on them doing their part, but you
Hmm.
shouldn't be dependent on them to provide your part
Right.
or assist you in your part.
Do guys willingly place themselves in the friend zone, or are they always waiting for the opportunity? Oh yeah,
We
yeah. What
discussed
about that,
that
Martin?
earlier. We discussed that earlier. A majority of guys are always waiting for the opportunity. They're putting everything on the table. That's my opinion from what I know about men and all the men I know. Like for the most part,
What
like
you really
they may
believe?
be.
You really believe that?
Oh, absolutely,
Think I want you
absolutely.
to sit and think about what
Absolutely.
you said.
Absolutely.
And I
Because
want you to think about
if we go
everything
down,
you
if I
know.
go in this chat, if there was some guy, I could ask him, can Koya get it? Can Koya get it? Can Koya get it? They're gonna be like, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Even one of the friends that's on there is still not
But
like,
no,
but I'm
but
just saying, like it's always
but
on
what
the
they're
table
saying
sometimes with a
is,
lot of guys.
I still feel like they're always waiting for the opportunity. Though they definitely don't put themselves in the friend zone. I've never seen a man put themselves in the friend zone until I've seen it more recently. I've seen people do something like that. I had never seen that before from men. Usually I see women put men in the friend zone,
Mhm.
but now
Like
men
I
are
said, I
starting
put
to
myself in the
friend
friend zone.
zone
I
them. Some men are starting to friend zone themselves until they are. It's not really friend zoning themselves. They're really friend. They're putting themselves to the side until they're ready to come back and holler at you.
yeah, a
They're
lot
not
of
really
guys.
friend
Yeah,
zoning you. If they respect you, they just gonna remove themselves for a little bit.
right. Or they're honest. Like if you're upfront, like with your, that's the thing. They're not upfront. They friend zone themselves in disguise to wait for their opportunity. And that's what I'll be saying about these best friends for a long time. Sometimes, like I think there's a small percentage of them that like, okay, that's real. But I think the rest of that, there was a period of time where there was somebody liked somebody in that relationship and they not really being forthcoming, or they were friend zoned on either side and they just been working their way in.
Julian said no dude wants to be in the friend zone, but then they take it so they can get
Come
closer.
on. I'll talk about it. Where is our sister at? Where is our sister and our brother-in-law at? Because they swore up and down. I said that nigga is trying to get, he
They're
is
the
married
ones
to
that
you now.
ruined our relationship.
Okay? He is married to this
Johnny,
woman now.
Johnny and
And I
Kyle
said
are
it
the reason
the
we are
whole
having
time.
this conversation.
Right. He talk about
Johnny and
we
Kyle are
just
the reason we're
friends.
having
We
this
best
conversation.
friends. We
We
like you
just
and
friends.
Matt now.
We just
Woo,
friends.
woo. I
We
said, no,
best
you're
friends.
not.
We like
I
you and
told him
boy.
to
No, y'all not.
I told him to his face, no, you not. I told Shani
No,
from
you're
that
not.
very moment, no, he wants you. He trying to
No.
wait. He just waiting, waiting, waiting. Now look, two babies in a
First of
ring.
all,
I'm
first of all,
happy for him, but
They had already dated. They had
right.
already dated and then became best friends, y'all. But they was traveling together and going to all the holidays together and helping each other buy stuff for their mates. It was weird. Okay. And me and Matthew was like, y'all gonna be together. Y'all gonna be we
Oh,
not
I
no
like these comments.
hold on, Matt. We friends. We friends. And I was like, y'all is ruining it for all the real friends out here because y'all are not friends. And now they're married with 2 children.
Right. Okay. So as Lamont says, dudes most of the time you friend zone
Yes,
to
Matthew. I
get
said that.
closer.
I tried to get you to respond to that. You didn't listen.
Oh no, I did. I was just going back down the list. Friend zone is optimistic and delusional.
Ooh, who said
Uh,
that?
Lily said that.
Lily, you are so
That's
grumpy.
it is optimism.
Is
If
it
you,
delusional?
I don't, if it depends on their mindset. People friend zone themselves, but not willing to do. If they are willing to do the work.
Mm.
I didn't get that one. They putting themselves on ice until you have a hot night. That's definitely a big thing for men.
Oh, boy.
They
That
just
one right
and
there.
that's what I say. Like men ain't being honest because
That
if
ain't
you're being honest,
platonic.
you could be friends that are non-platonic. Y'all could still be friends and hang
That,
out and never do nothing.
that ain't
And if
platonic.
y'all both know that that's what it is, if you have a hot night, then guess what? It was never like a
It was never
situation where
platonic.
we wasn't going to smash.
It
I
was never
can't even talk about it right now. I
it's
go,
never platonic. It was never platonic.
I
If
have
you
that too. I have
if you
relationships with people who've
Maddie,
been friends forever.
hello,
And it took,
Maddie, if you can take that, if you can take yourself off ice and have a hot night, you was never platonic. You just was waiting for the opportunity, probably mutually. And sometimes there's just opportunities that happen. But that is when you know it's platonic or not. Because if it goes down, dog, it ain't platonic.
okay, you're right, Lily. They are friends
Who's
and
friend?
they got married. But they weren't, they were playing, they were faking the fun. We were
Nah, they
talking
was
about
taking like they was
they
platonic.
were yeah, they were faking like it was
They were taking
platonic.
like they was platonic.
That
They were platonic
he
for a few
friend
years.
zoned himself to get him shit together so that he could have the opportunity to get back in. That's what we were using that example for them particularly. Um, but like yeah, you know what I'm saying? All that is why it gets to this level,
Wait,
you know?
it is delusional because either you're a friend or you're not. If you waiting on the sidelines and faking being my friend, then you not my friend, sir. Except
Right? No,
I
if
don't
you're
agree.
honest, you can be friends
I don't agree with
knowing
that.
like Like you can have a friend, I believe, that you
Some
know,
people
like,
can put
oh
their
yeah, he
feelings
trying to smash, he
no,
or he likes me, or
some
he this
people
that, and the,
some people can put their feelings aside though and actually be your friend.
and be your friend. Just being your friend doesn't mean that I cannot like you.
Right.
First of all, that doesn't mean that. It just means that we're not at a point where you may not be at a point right now, but I'm not gonna put myself in a friend zone. I'm not gonna put myself out there and say that it could never be, but I ain't gonna mess with you right now like that. If it's honesty going back and forth, sometimes y'all may have some stuff going on. You got another dude that you're dealing with or something, and you just don't want to deal with no more ish. And so you're like, I don't feel like dealing with this.
Hold on, wait. He said, I know you have some dudes who can be that, but some dudes are just waiting for the moment to jump in. Now that's true.
Bingo, Stacy. That's exactly what I was talking
Hold on,
about.
hold on. So when the opportunity happens, can you go back to friends, or is it a forced change? Oh, for their relationship forever. Uh, um, nah. I actually
I
think
believe you
you
can.
can go back to being friends if it's not like if it didn't click. Like if it didn't click or it wasn't more than what it was. I absolutely know that you can go back to being friends. Absolutely. But it has to be both parties have to agree to that.
Lily, I think those were dependent men. If they waited too long, they weren't waiting for their right time. They need to go about their life. Okay, they need to go about their life, and y'all be friends. And if there's a point in your life, this is what I'm talking about for real. When if they're just waiting around for you in their life to be that person, then they're not trying to be your friend.
Hold
That's
on,
what
Lily
I'm talking
said,
about.
"I've been cussed out by men because
That's what
they
I'm.
felt they waited too long."
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I'm addressing. Um,
I
it's no,
mean,
it's
are
not
you not
platonic.
being honest about your relationship with them? That's what
No,
that is.
she may be saying, "Let's just be friends,
No, no, no.
and
Mm-mm.
let's be friends," and they've expressed how they feel.
But
I don't we
was
don't know the
there
details.
but was there a breadcrumb left for them to make them think that they had something to wait for?
Mm, okay, because women do that too.
Yep.
And I'm gonna wait for her response on that one before I continue on that.
I think
Marty is
you
talking about
can
um,
agree with
would it
that.
be platonic? It's not platonic. If a party or one of the two parties agree that there is something that could be there, but they're willing to build a friendship, maybe not totally date or anything like that. I don't know. It's some people have a hard time with it because they just don't want to deal with people if they're not interested. They don't want need no new friends. Like I
Oh,
don't.
wait, these comments are funny. Hold on. I think we can go back to being friends. You can definitely live in the moment and do whatever happens for that night with that friend, but you can also move back to being friends. But it can also go back to the beginning. It depends on the people. Yeah, now that's true. Some people just have their own rules.
Hmm. That's
Ooh,
another thing.
I had
Not
someone
not
call me
not
out for
not
starting
adhering to.
a relationship and he was already here. Oh wait, starting a relationship with someone else and you thought they thought you was in a relationship with them? Wait, I want to know.
No, no, no. That's not it. It's she got into a relationship with somebody, but there was somebody on the sidelines waiting for her because they weren't being her friend. They just wait. That's a different category.
That's a
I don't even want to put that in the same category. They're not being your friend. They just waiting, thinking that like you need to tell them like if they were really being your friend, they might have came around in the fold at some point. But because they were not being your friend, they were mad that you because you found somebody that you built with or
my mom.
connected.
My mom said I could definitely departmentalize a relationship. She talking about me. Yes, I can. Um, so for me, I'm a little different. I can go back into friendships that I've been romantic with someone and be platonic and not do anything else. But that's just me personally. I maneuver that way. I'm, I'm a water sign, so
And
we
then like we're
need
not
to.
trying to give you solutions because everybody's different. You have to build your relationship separately. Our main goal is to like dispel propaganda about relationships between men and women right now. And
Lily, I feel like with you though, you a little tricky. Let me tell you why. You remind me of my sister, man.
that's
So
true, Jewel. I believe you. I gotta go to the restroom.
okay. So Lily, like you said, until the dude gets mad and you thought you had a real friend, that's the issue. But I'm saying, did you just ignore that the dude had feelings and then you was like, well, we gonna be friends because I don't have feelings? Or did y'all have a real conversation and both were clear that y'all were going to move on to being platonic friends? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because sometimes, like back in the day when my sister was younger, like when we were real young, like when we were kids, dudes would like her and she would know, but she would play dumb like she didn't know, so that she could friend zone them instead of having to say it. So she would just play like she didn't know that they like him, and she just put them in the friend zone, and they continue their friendship. But whole time they like her, and then eventually when they say something, they're all upset because they assumed that she knew what she did, but she just would ignore it. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do you do that? Because it gets real tricky. I mean, cuz man, you know it's true, Stacey. Like, you know, because like it gets it. She good. She was so good at that when she was young. Like it would be like I would be cracking up. Like, yo, they be spilling their guts out here, and she just look at you like she ain't hear none of that. But what would happen later is when they eventually decide to open up and say something, it becomes this whole like, how did you not know? So I'm just trying to figure out if that's Lily, do you move that way? Because Shawnee surely did when she was little. She would just be like, "Oh, you like me? No, you don't. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't hear that." And then she just walk off. It's because you don't like them now, but you don't know what the future holds, and you don't want to burn that bridge.
I think that's fair.
I think it's fair too. I also think that's fair.
I think people are greedy. I think some people are like, I want you now. I want to be with you, but it's not the situation, not the right time. I had situations, plenty of situations in different ways that it wasn't the right time. It was never platonic, but we was friends for years, like real friends, hung out, all that. It wasn't platonic, but we never did anything. We never had a relationship or anything like that. But we knew, like, yeah, if we wanted to, we could get it in. Like, and at some point, it may have gotten in or not. But the point is that we were friends though. Like before anything.
Lily said, I really thought they wanted to be my friend. I'm dumb sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. All three of these situations were people who were cool from college or work. We would literally be friends, like tell our business and hang out type friends before I started talking to someone. They would even have girlfriends themselves. Yeah, I think people are just not really transparent about their feelings, especially if it's somebody like you, because you and Shani, y'all would have chopped people's heads off if they made y'all feel uncomfortable. So some people are just intimidating too. Like, and so I think especially when it's friends, like they might I don't see y'all's friends trying to dig themselves out of them little friendship holes until y'all give a real green light. I mean, it's
That
weird.
causes for healing too on all sides, though. Everybody has to heal from trauma. The trauma that we deal with in relationships, like, really builds up these walls that we have to break down when we meet people because we just don't trust after a while.
Wait, it's weird. Almost like you lied to me to some degree. Maybe I overanalyzed what friend means. So you feel like if somebody is claiming they're in the friend zone and then they say that they're not in the friend zone, that you feel like that's a betrayal?
Good question.
Because I feel like there's
Hey,
a
friend,
room to
are
be
we friends?
human, but do we feel like that's a betrayal? That's interesting. I never really thought about that. That's kind of how my sister used to behave. Like when she was young, really little, she would be upset that her friends would be like, "They like you. Do you like me?" Like, what are you talking about?
Right. It's okay to like a friend. Like you can still not like jump out there, but everybody don't have that. Um yeah, the people have ulterior motives. They don't know how to like I can be attracted to a bunch of people. I'm not gonna put people out there, but it's people I can say, boom, yeah, I'm attracted to you. Yeah, you and I like
Okay,
we click
is
sometimes.
it
We're
betrayal?
cool, but I'm
Is it
not going at
betrayal?
you.
But is it betrayal if we have never y'all we have to really think about this, okay? Everybody is not on the same emotional intelligence level, on the same mental level, on the same spiritual level, right? So if we think about it like that,
I'm not.
can we call it betrayal if somebody has evolved feelings at some point and they just decided to put them to the side because they wanted to keep your friendship? That's not betrayal. That means they valued your friendship. That doesn't necessarily mean they just waiting in the sidelines to swoop in on you and break your heart. That just means they never really felt like there was a place for them to tell you how they felt. Like, it used to be so hard for me to tell my friends that I felt a certain way about them, like when I was younger. So I never saw it as a betrayal, like I'm just sitting here lying, because the reality of it is root of all relationships is a friendship.
Mm.
So if that person had the ability to stay around you and support you, is that betrayal because they decided to unload their feelings at some point because maybe they just couldn't hold it anymore? The reason they were holding the man was because they didn't want to make you uncomfortable. And you, I mean, the person who has now asked them to be in the friend zone. You see what I'm saying? So it's not betrayal. It's just human. It's just human. It's not a lie. They were there as as much as they could be, and at some point they got to a point where they like, maybe I can't watch you with this one dude. Like maybe this one dude look like he about to put a ring on it, and I got to tell you my feelings. Like, I don't know
It's
what.
tough out here. It's tough. We can't give you a perfect answer. Don't ask us for no answers and solutions to this. You got to figure it out yourself. I think that
Lily, you so paranoid. Lily's so paranoid. Ain't nobody plotting on you and scheming on you.
right, being taught how to handle rejection.
That's what it is. What we miss
She
is,
said, "Don't come adding to my plate."
you
When
know,
you know
you
she
know
got
what,
something going on, right? Don't bring her no extra shit she got to
but you
think
know what
about.
we don't do, y'all? The one simple thing that we do not do. We do not ask people what their definition of something is. We do not say, what is your definition of friendship? What is your definition of a relationship? We have to ask those things. What is your definition of, a platonic friendship? Like, we have to ask people who we are in relation with what those things mean to them, because where we mess up is assuming that everybody has the same definition of those words.
Hmm. That's where we've had some good misunderstandings because people don't understand words. They don't understand what friends are or chilling and doing anything. Like they don't understand what things are. So it's like you got to keep reiterating, and that does not.
Hold,
Yeah,
wait. I can catch up.
people make up definitions.
But do we ask what that person we're in relation with, what their definition is, or do we assume that they think it's the same thing we think?
Right, and not their Google definition. Well, it says right here, a person that is a get the heck out of my face with that crap. I trying to hear that.
I,
Because that's useful in the right way, but it's usually not used in the right way. Oh, vegan sushi club.
don't make me uncomfortable. Don't make you uncomfortable. They don't know they're making you uncomfortable.
Right.
Wait, now you making me choose because after you tell me what am I supposed to say? Nah, let's keep being friends. Yes, that is what you're supposed to say. And you say, are you cool with that? Yes or no?
Yeah, there you go.
And then they can put themselves in the box. That's when they have to man up or woman up and say, no, I can't be your friend. Some people say it. People will tell you at some point that they cannot do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I've done it.
I've
I've
never
done
had
it.
a friend that I moved in on, but I had lady friends that I wanted to talk to. We
I've
were
done it.
friends.
I've been told, I've been put
We
on
were
the
friends,
side.
Julian.
I've been told, it's not with something and whatever. I have people right now I'm friends with, like shit. Like I've been told, it's not gonna be, but I put myself out there to let them know, like I'm not platonic. Like if there's a time I'm interested, you know. But we also talked about those type of things, or may have had some type of attraction. I don't know, man. It's tough. Y'all got oh man, y'all need to get back to elementary. Send me
Wait,
a
wait.
do you like me? Yes or no?
Now they're like friends with
Mommy says
benefits.
something. Must set healthy, attainable boundaries.
Come back around. Okay, wait. So Jules said, okay.
Yes, I agree with that,
Ju-
Jewel.
Jules, what Jules said about the categories. That is where friendships, this is why platonic friendships are so tricky because all these categories and slang in the categories. This is to me the hardest part of trying to explain to someone what a platonic friendship looks like because you got so many levels of friendships and then so many slangs and so much verbiage and all these different things where I'm just like, yo, I have no idea what this person I'm talking to or in relation with or in a friendship with. I don't even know if they believe in the same scale that I believe in. So it's like we really have to be clear with ourselves about these categories because this is where the platonic friendships get lost is in them categories and the friends with
Mm.
benefits and the situationships and that's why friendships are so murky. I mean that's what I feel.
So Abba, hello, says men and women cannot be just friends, in my opinion. Lily says I only have platonic or we go together. Go together. Hey, you dumb as heck.
Really, there's no in between. How do
Oh,
you get to go
nah,
together?
you either bait or you family. So can
Wait a minute,
somebody say? All right, that's a good one. Can
y'all.
somebody say
Wait,
bait though? And y'all just be cool?
what?
Can you have cool bait that y'all like? What do you call that person? Y'all,
No, wait. How you gonna go to platonic or to together? How you get to the middle part?
she joking, man. She said she only have platonic friends or they go together. Like,
I
if you
know,
like
but
me,
no.
we go together. But
Mm-mm.
I guess this is
Well,
hard, a lot harder for
Stacey
women
said
because
that.
women are gonna
Stacey
have a
said
lot of women. I
happy
saw it.
high.
I saw it.
Wait.
They
Okay,
say
wait. She said they literally think it's a conversation that you when you talking to someone.
like, nah, we just talking. Oh, so you
What do
just
they
had a
do?
conversation. See, but that
Like
goes back to
each other?
our understanding of information. Wow. So you saying that if I date a woman that in from Texas, they'd be like, so what? Nah, I
Oh,
just
so
talked to
you
a couple
talking? You
people.
talking? What you
So I'm
mean you
gonna
talking?
tell her I'm just talking to a couple people. She gonna be like, oh, okay. She not gonna think he talking to people like we talking to people. We just had a conversation, and then she'd be like, "Oh, you're dating other people." See, there's a different mindset.
Wait, hell yeah, you can have bait and still be close friends.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah,
That's what we're
I
talking
mean,
about. That's the
yeah,
respect, respect, respect,
yes, respect, and just transparency, man.
respect.
Transparency. Don't be out here being friends with
She
your
put his face.
exes
A
and
suitor, somebody
and
that
your,
you're attracted to.
you know what it is. Don't not communicate to your partner that you're kicking it with. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're talking to someone romantically in whatever form that is. Like, be transparent to the point that both parties really do understand. Like, that person needs to understand that's somebody that you are cool with, and the other person needs to understand that these are the boundaries and this is the situation I'm in. It's really just about a conversation. Like, people don't have those with each other. They just out here, and then friends pop up and you be like, who is these friends? You made
We jumping. You mean if y'all jumping boots, we having conversations around boundaries. Exactly. Especially if we get to that level. That's what. But communication, jumping, humping. I like it. Communication is key. People not communicating. People not being genuine either.
nope.
Like a lot of people, like I talked about, and I'm gonna talk about the men because you know what I'm saying. Like a lot of men are possessive even when they like a woman. And I'm just talking about this side. I don't know about gay relationships. I don't know, so I can't explain that. I don't know how that goes. But
I
I
think
know a
that's
lot
just
of men
human. It's just human.
that like women, they are possessive even when they like them. Not even with them. They possessive over them.
Women are
They
too though.
possessive over, yeah, but not. I feel like it's different.
Really? I feel like it's worse with women.
Okay. That's a good point you bring up. But I don't like it, regardless of if it's the man or the woman. Like this possessiveness, this thought that you have some sort of uh stake in this person, even though you never, drilled a hole or anything or did anything to plant a stake, took a hammer or a nail or did nothing.
We've been friends. I've been talking to you. The other man literally being your friend. How you gonna turn around and tell me you've been here waiting? If we text and conversing
Now,
on
if
the
he if
phone,
you
it
talking
is
to
what
him,
it
he
is.
telling you
Absolutely.
at the same time, well, I'm still over here when you ready. Then you know that he's being your friend and he's still putting his 2 cents in.
I think 60-40 women. Okay. I just feel like women are super possessive before we even have you. That's why I don't like the setup.
Hmm.
Men, I wish they would be more possessive.
No, you
That
don't. No, you
yes,
don't.
I do. Yes, I
Oh yeah,
do.
we trying to reverse that right now. That's the problem.
That's what you think. These men ain't out here keeping nobody. Okay.
No, I ain't talking about keeping. I'm talking about their
Listen to what I'm
mentality
saying.
mentality of thinking that you are their
I
property
hear
or
you, but
something.
there are more men who lack that at all, and they don't have no connection to these jumps because they don't have that in them at all. There's no part of them
Facts.
even claiming the women at all because they lack that completely. See, what
Mhm.
you're talking about is there can be a balance of that is healthy. There's a balance of um having that connection with somebody and it not feel like ownership or not feel like
Well,
that.
and I get what you're saying because, like, when you're first attracted to somebody, when you're trying to go at, like, okay, as a man, if I'm
Mm,
interested in a woman and I want to go at her, if I want to initiate a conversation or dating situation, of course, I'm not going to think. I don't think of it as possessiveness, but I am going to put out positive energy. Like, I want to have this relationship. I want to see where I can go with this person. So I want to build, and I may put in affirmations on that. You know what I mean? But it's not about possessiveness. What I'm talking about is like they think that, yeah, I'm gonna get that. That's
okay,
mine right there.
I like
And
what
I
Jewel
don't
said,
care
Matt.
how long I gotta wait, but that's mine right there. Like
But
that's a
Jewel,
different
Jewel
mentality.
gave the perfect words for it: provide, protect, and profess. See, that's what they're missing, and so what it turned into is this unhealthy ownership and that humans have with each other. That's why I think it's interesting you thought men did it because
Right.
women have issue with that. Like,
Profess first, profess your intentions. Then you have to prove that you can protect and provide. If they accept it, then they accept it. Until then, chill out.
yeah, professing is serious. But wait, Lily just said don't be professing until another dude come around. See what I'm saying?
That's why I said profess first. Like I said, I profess immediately. Like this is where I feel. Like I
How you
think.
gonna walk around act like you owning me and you don't call me? I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand those humans.
But as soon as somebody else come around, I thought we had something going
I
on.
thought we was doing something. I thought we had a thing. You did. When did you tell me that?
I thought we was doing this. Woo, woo,
Because
woo,
if
woo.
you did, guess what? He wouldn't have came in. How'd he get in?
Ooh, you say we lack foundational consistency. This starts from childhood. I can agree that that can be a case, like
I mean, that can definitely be.
trying to establish some foundations in multiple places.
And that goes back to the beginning of the topic, which is my parents always cultivated healthy co-ed relationships with me and my siblings and our friends. We shared a lot of us shared friends too. So we had male and female friends around and neighborhood kids and their siblings. And so my mom always cultivated a really healthy dynamic between boys and girls around us.
Lazy, lazy is,
They lazy in all relationships, friendships, family ships, business ships. Yeah, you right.
but yeah, everything. They just don't lazy. People just want everything given to them, like everything. You know what I mean? And you got to work for this, especially this love. Especially this love. You got to work for this love, man. On both sides, you got to work for this love.
Have male and female relationships that you can actually rely on because then you won't be so stressed out trying to really figure your mate out, bro. Like you don't need to stress out that deep. Like yes, go to therapy also, but also like you have humans around you that you can get a different perspective from. Talk to your daddy, talk to your uncles, talk to your grandfathers, talk to your male cousins. Like
Talk
it's
to your
important.
sisters, your
Talk
mothers,
to your sisters, your
you
aunties,
get
all of that.
multiple perspectives. And well, this just comes
Age,
down to
age
conditioning
demographic,
too, because
age too.
sometimes it's gonna be some people you don't want to talk about. You don't want to talk to because they don't have the right perspective on these type of things.
Oh,
They
be
can tell you
careful
other stuff.
who you choose. If you do not like the way your best friend moves, do not go to them for feedback.
Specific type of advice, unless you want to move like them.
Right.
And that's your best friend, so you know them. Like you all should have things that you know you could talk about, and there's some things that you can't talk about with that person, or you only talk about on certain levels, depending on how y'all. Doesn't mean that it's bad. Doesn't mean that y'all relationship ain't right. It just means that don't take advice from somebody who's not showing or doing things that's right
That's what's wrong.
consistently. Everybody don't do things right all the time.
I know,
But
right. But
cons-
no, don't get a mentorship from your female thought best friend and you trying to have a good relationship with your wife. Okay? That ain't gonna work. You talking to the wrong friend.
it shouldn't be too much work that you not putting in the time, or you not willing to put in the time anymore. When you say I'm not willing to put in no more time, it's too hard. It's over. It's done.
It's
I'm
done.
referring to Lily, but it's work and relationships of any sort of work. Koya and I's relationship is hella work. It's hard. Sometimes I don't be wanting to do stuff that she want me to do. She definitely don't want to be listening to me half the time I'm talking. So but we work on it. We get in fights, arguments, cursing. She just cursed me out in front of my house, in front of my landlord, who's auntie as well, in front of uh, the neighbors. Like, yeah, I don't even understand. Like, told me go in my own house, go in the house. Like, she at my house, just picking up. Like, and we got a little skit for scat little thing that we get into occasionally, and they got deep, and
Hey, that one was that was a
but it
little
take work.
that one was a little different. That moment for me was a little different. I don't usually go tell people to go to their room, but that's
But it took work for us even to get to that point. It might have been a point I'd have cursed her out right there too in front of everybody and been calling her all kind of names because I was immature back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't do
right.
that. I just was like, I'm gonna go in the house.
Like
I was
I was just like,
mad.
get out of my face. Get out of my face. And but see, when people understand your relationship, like my auntie and my mother looked at me, and my auntie was like, "Let her go, let us finish what she gotta say." But and it was so funny because the reason I was arguing with him wasn't even about the subject. It was about his tone of voice that he was using with me as a female and him as a man. And I had to remind him, we are brother and sister, but you still need to respect me as a female. And also, you talking to me in front of my
Work.
female
I
elders.
keep listen. Work is taking work, I'm still working, and I done come a long way, boy. That's why I'm able to even talk about it. And I look at the men, and I'm like, "Hey, y'all, come on, man. I'm tired talking for y'all because they back there and I don't know what to
That
do."
be out here apologizing for all mankind, y'all. He be trying so hard. He be trying to
I like
apologize
what Stacy
for all
said.
mankind.
Model, talk to people that you can model things after, no matter what it is. Like if you want
And she said
advice on
sometimes they're not.
business,
She said sometimes they're not the closest people to you, and that is very true.
hmm
You
doesn't
have to sometimes go outside of your generational stuff.
and that brings in the mentorships and things like that, which is a different type of friendship after a while. It's like a business type of educational friendship mixed together. Um, I don't know, but the bottom line is we could be friends if people communicate and are honest.
Yeah.
Larry says
That,
relationships without proper care will deteriorate because nobody is adding anything, but they're constantly taking away something. Relationships are like
right.
the human body, it needs to be taken care of if any sustainability is expected. Exactly. Platonic, non platonic, whatever the relationship is, business, whatever, it needs to be balanced, it needs to have consistency, it needs to be worked on consistently with constant measures. Like Koya would not still be my friend if I didn't constantly fix something. It may take a while to fix it. It ain't just like she said, the tone, all that shit. This been this 20 years of tone. Okay, y'all. This ain't no new tone. It ain't the same tone. It's a different. It's toned down.
It's the
Okay.
same.
Let's
It's
say it's
just
toned down. I've toned
yeah,
down
yeah,
heavily.
yeah.
Like my volume used to be all the way up. Now it's low. You'd be like, I can't hear it. Can you turn it down? I can't turn it up. I got to keep turning it down.
Right.
I need the negative decibels. But
But we've evolved. Like, you yelled at me for a very long time about like not speaking up for myself and over giving. And I've just now got to the point where, I've been able to like really work on those things, and you have to yell at me like, "Quick, you got to do something for yourself, or you got to do this, or and because I'm a procrastinator, and so you be like, Hoya, you got to So there's things that we literally yell at each other about constantly on a daily basis, but we have literally been on a journey of like self improvement forever, which is why we do it in our friendship. Like we use each other as the experiment, and then we do experiments. Y'all don't know we doing them, but we do 'em. But it helps us learn. Like we'll apply a new characteristic that we're working on, or something that we have, finally gotten rid of some trauma, and we will experiment. We might be in a relationship and be like, okay, let me see if this tactic is going to work now, because I know I do this, and this. So and so what it
let me
did is
try to be better.
right. So we really just tried to like communicate with each other so we can improve ourselves for the people outside of me and his friendship. And that helps with our business, and it helps with, how we attract people to us. And it's just really important. I get scared when I talk to my female friends who don't have any male friends. They are so green. I'm 39. None of my friends should be green. Okay. All my friends are my age within the 5-year span, and they are clueless, clueless. Male and female friends that don't have no male and female friends, and they are clueless.
Likewise, Lily. Likewise. And that's the truth. Like we have to be accountable. And I think that's the like bottom line of a friendship is being accountable for each
Right.
other, and like I hold Koya accountable. She holds me accountable. I hold my male friends accountable. I
Yep.
I'm digging in their shit all the time about
Matthew
what what they
Matthew
really
needs
need
an
to be doing,
award.
man.
He tried.
And it's hard, but it gets in. It sinks in because I don't let up. And that's the thing. Like I'm proving to them like don't let up. Don't be like this. We cannot change. It was funny. I was watching Jim Jeffries, a comedian, and he was talking about
Mm,
his father. And this is an Australian white comedian, okay? Um,
I love him.
really funny. He's a funny guy. Had a lot of things going on in his life. Anyway, he's talking about his father. His father's like 78, 80s, old, right? And said he got his father to vote for gay marriage in Australia when they were voting for it because his father, he kept talking to his father, and finally he got his father to realize that like they just need equal rights just as much. And his father's like, fine, they should. You're right. They deserve to be just as miserable as the rest of us. And but he whatever way he figured it out, he rationalized it, and then it's like, no. And then his father starts feeling like he's woke. He's like, I'm progressive. Like,
Mm,
he's not there yet, but the point of it was somebody went on him about being like somebody said something about trans something. He was like, wait a minute. Whoa, whoa. His father was like, whoa. He was like, see, young people and people jump so quick to jump down your throat, at something, and people just in general just want to jump down your throat. Oh, you're this, you're that, you're not doing this, instead of understanding that maybe you're learning. Like he said, his father, listen, like he just accepted gay people yesterday. He's old. He's not as fast as you are, young people, or this, that, and the other. And I'm just using this as an example. But he's getting there because he's
right.
trying to learn and he's accepting the learning. So let's teach more, but give him a chance to learn. And that's something we don't do a lot. We want everybody to get it right now. We don't get anything right now. Your body don't heal or nothing happened to it right now, right? It takes at least 3 days. Three times three times three. We always have a trifecta of things that happen. So it's always going to be a multitude of time for
Mm,
something to come to fruition.
right.
So this um gratification is that we want right now is not helping with people building proper relationships and communicating with each other on how to be friends.
And
It's the
here's the
opposite
other
sex.
thing, because I was blessed to have males around me to learn, you know,
I put
certain
my hat on.
listen, certain things. I basically what I took upon myself is my female friends that did not have male friends around them. I took the role of even passing some of that information down to them because there were things that I was hearing having male friends around me about like how their relationships were, how women were speaking to them, how they felt in their relationship, how they felt like they didn't have a safe space, how they felt like they were being talked down to, all these things, right? I'm listening to all these things. I'm watching my female friends in their relationships. I'm so proactive to the point that when I started seeing those things in my female friends being with them and their boyfriend, because I kind of was always the friend that like wouldn't really boot up. And so I was always around with my friends and their boyfriends. And when I saw those characteristics of those things that my male friends kind of mentioned, I would correct the behavior because I was like, okay, I know this Joan ain't got no males around her, but I'm watching this man disintegrate in front of her, you know? And I would be like, bruh, you don't need to talk to men that way. Like that's unnecessary. You don't need to do that in front of all these people. And you can pull him aside and have this conversation. You don't need to speak in that tone and that language with him. I correct the behavior when I see it. When I see those women that men do complain about, especially in our community, when I see those behaviors, I correct them. I tell them why they don't add to the relationship. It will further push that person away from them. And of course, if I see men doing something, I'm always going to correct that. But I also correct women. And this is what I say. I speak up for anything I don't feel is balanced. Anything
And
that I
that's
feel like is generalized or anything like that.
That's the hard part. Like for me, having to help my bros like understand you can be friends with these Jones. Like try to do this. Try not to fuck all the. Excuse my language. Sorry, ma. Like it just come out. It's real. Try not to fudge all the women. You know what I'm saying? Try not to be all that guy. And then you may build some different relationships. You still gonna get you some. Dog. Like, come on, man. Like most of us are attracted. I'm not, but a lot of other people are fairly attractive in the world, you know, and they're people are gonna like you. You don't have to get all of them. Like it's not you wasting time doing that anyway. Where you could be
Well, we
doing
just get up in arms
when we
about.
broke, when people broke and y'all out here just doing it. I'll be right back. Get my food.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, I think that. Hold on, let me read your comment. Younger people come up with these labels established so they have a different perspective, just like our generation was compared to our parents. Oh my God. So I have a theory about that, Stacey. So the younger generation having these labels, the amount of labels they have on their friendships, on their relationships, on gender, on sexuality, on everything, right? Um, I really feel like it's so that they can eventually get us to the point where we see that those things don't matter. I don't even think it's about breaking down all the different situationships you can have and relationships you can have. I think it's more so about getting the people to the point where they're going to be like, well, we can't keep up with all these things. So maybe we just don't have any labels about that. Because that is also where we get into these situations. Like, you should be able to read people's energy. You know when somebody's around you and they trying to talk to your dude. Like, that energy. And when somebody's around your dude that really don't care about your dude in that way. If you get out of your own self and your own thoughts, right, you're not going to even see these things that you think you see. It's just you're seeing these things that have been implanted to us on a 3D level. It's really about a 3D level and how we have been told we need to maneuver around each other. The reality of it is that we are smart enough to watch the behaviors and watch how people interact and watch how people behave, to understand these labels for real. The labels have put such a confusion on thing because people are trying to keep themselves in these little containers, and they want to be like, oh, I got to put myself in this container and I got to behave this way inside this container, because if I come out the container, then what? And it's really just
Woo! You both just hit it. That container and the ego protecting the story about who you think you really are. The container. I like that concept, Koya. You said the container. That's what it is to me. It feels like we just added these containers and now you feel like you have to act or be a specific way because you identify in a container when it shouldn't be a container that identifiable. Now some containers need to be there for other reasons, logistical, administration and life, etc. Blah 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 blah. Other than that, we're talking about relationships and friendships and all that stuff.
and really that's true. Men and women don't trust each other. They don't trust other women. Men don't trust other men, but it's because of their insides and how they behave. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's because we ultimately know the dirt we do as humans. The only reason we don't trust other humans is because of the dirt we know, that we've done, that we've thought about, that we've acted upon.
Or that was happened upon us.
Eh, it's mostly a mirroring effect.
And
We
back to the media.
ain't yeah,
That's where
because
we go back to the media because your friends and your associates, especially now with social media, okay, it's
Mhm,
media. They are causing some of your conditioning in your heads too about relationships.
absolutely. Absolutely.
With all this rampant media around, you get all this different information. Then you getting still the same. Oh, this is my soulmate, and proximity, propaganda being preached, as well as the drama and other BS of other people's lives. They don't tell you all the truth. They tell you, man, she did all this, blah 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 blah. Man, you know how many people I know, like bruhs, that get mad because their ex woman that they're not with anymore, may have baby mother, whatever, whoop, 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 dating somebody else, and they
Really?
mad because
Why?
they may be on the outs of the relationship or like just mad that they just started dating somebody else.
Are
That's
they
what
mad because they want to be with that person, or are they mad because they just don't want no one else to be with them?
I don't know. They just be stupid. But they done cheated on the person a million times. Or the person cheated or is leaving them for somebody else that they started being interested in because they were actually interested in them wholeheartedly, and they mad because they leaving you because you was cheating on them the whole time, but you like it doesn't make sense to
It
me.
doesn't make sense. But that's why people are so paranoid, because they move like that in relationships. And then when they see other humans around, they be like, that human is probably doing the same thing I'm doing. And they might not even be doing that. They might not even be thinking that way. But because of the way we think on the inside, like how our brains work, the distrust that we have for each other as humans, the way reality shows show these crazy relationships where they got 9,000 side jonts and 80 baby fathers, and they all intermingling with each other, but they all swelling to the other person. Like, invite them all to the party.
Well,
Get out.
this Yeah, and I agree with that. This is a part of a series, Stacy. We're starting our series on the men and the women. We were
Yeah.
asked to talk about black
Black
men in
men
our culture
and
and
so we
our
decided to start
relationship.
with our friendship.
We want to talk about
Also,
friendships
because I
first.
kept seeing people complaining about the fact that they didn't believe in male and female friendships. So, had to speak on that first before we dive into the other sections.
What would you like to say, Lily? Would you like to talk? You want me to send you an invite?
Okay, say something real quick. What you gonna say? You gonna come on? So, yeah. So basically, we don't. I don't know. I don't know how we really fix that trust. I don't know how we. I don't know how we do it. No, we're not baby towing in the man talk. We can't. That's got to be a whole episode. We can't just jump in like and then start going in on men, and then y'all got to wait till the next week for women like that. We're gonna have to have an expert in here to maneuver that conversation a little bit.
Yeah, you're not coming on the show for that one.
Oh,
You got
Lily,
too
nah,
much to say.
yeah, Lily,
You
you
got
can't do
too
that.
much to say. No, we're gonna let people in and out. We're gonna let some
Nah,
of y'all come in and out.
nah, nah.
We gotta regulate that.
No.
Fix the trust by
Mm-mm.
changing the
Lily,
story. And
Lily,
that's
you're not ready
historic,
to come on to
Stacy.
the man episode.
That's historic, Stacy. What's up? What's up, G Money? That's historic. You know what I mean? Like we gotta change our mindset. We gotta change our conditioning to understand that the way we even look at relationships, especially between a romantic one, okay, our mindset is traditionally built on this condition that was given to us by this Euro-colonistic patriarchal religious faction.
Right,
Okay, period. What's
right.
up, Lily? You want to say something? I'm gonna chime you in a second. Um, so she like, what's happening? You there?
Bro,
Oh, hey!
Yeah, we're gonna let you. We're gonna
I
yeah,
let
got
you.
we
on
gonna
my
let you have
bathrobe.
the floor.
I got on my
So
bathrobe.
That's fine.
Okay. All right.
and
For
right,
that.
focus on what you want and make your story like of your particular life.
Ooh, and that's a
You
whole
know
other
what
episode because I want to talk about the blueprint of relationships.
I'm saying?
What's up, sir?
So
Yes.
what you want to say, Lee? You had something to say?
Yeah, she was talking about I'm trying to find the here it is. When she said like um we think other people are out to get us, because of the stuff that we do or the stuff that we think. And I think there's a big portion of people who are like open hearted, right? Have a lot of I want to say naivete, but like people who really just believe like people are inherently good. And after you get done over so many times, that's kind of like what else are you supposed to do? It's a defense mechanism. You know what I mean? I wanted to just make sure that was out there. Like it's a defense mechanism. So it's hard to have friends especially of the other sex, if that's what the situation was. It's
Right.
hard to have relationships romantically and otherwise because people are, predatory sometimes. And if you're the prey, and that's kind of been your story, it isn't that you think like that, like, oh, this person is out to get me because I know I'm a dirty person. It's more like this person's out to get me because every person that I've met is pretty much out to get me. So it's kind of one of those things where I think a lot, especially in our community, a lot of people have those experiences. And that's kind of what we see show up. So when you are with somebody and like, hey, this is my male friend, I've been friends with him for 10 years, whatever. And that person's like, that ain't no friend. He trying to fuck you. Excuse my language, mom. But it's like, why would you say that? You know what I mean? And
Right.
that person's experience might have been not that he's like that or she's like that, but just it might have been like, yeah, that's what happened to me before. Or somebody told me that was their brother and it wasn't. Or that was their cousin and it wasn't.
And that's and I think that's why we wanted to have the show, because that happens to me and Matt so much.
Oh, it happens to be a man all the time.
Yeah, that distrust, and it's like we have to continue to like explain things and like show things. And
I don't know if
like, bro, like why do I gotta do so much if I'm telling you I mess with you and I'm giving you energy?
And I remember
you worried about him.
There was a young lady that Matt was dating. I won't put names out there, but she literally was like, let's go hang out and get to know each other. So I did, and it was a grilling session. Have you ever slept with him? How do you know him? Girl, what? And it was scary because I was like, is she for real? Because in my head, I'm like, I would never do any of these things. First of all, that's like, he's family. Like, this is strange and awkward. And she just, in her head, she was like, no, something happened because I can't believe it. And I don't think I've told Matt. I may have told him, but it was just strange and scary. Like, oh, wow, people really be getting taken advantage of. Or, she explained it like it happened to her before. Somebody was supposed to be just a friend, probably a previous relationship or something. And I was like, oh, I get that. But no, I don't roll like that. Like, that's just strange. Like, for me, you my boyfriend or you my friend. It's no in between for me. So there's no reason for you to have any other ideas other than this is this and this is that. That's how I am.
I don't think we identify people's labels either properly. Like, no, this is my friend, but we friends with benefits. Like, be honest.
Be honest.
What type
That's
of
why I keep
relationship
saying
you are.
transparency, Matt. But that's why I've been saying transparency. Yeah. You can be like, that's my friend, but we smashed back in the day. That's my friend.
But see, that's the thing. I don't come from that, right? I'm not that type of person. I'll say that. I can't say you my friend and we got benefits going on. Because in my head, how I'm wired, we go together. Whether you think we go together or not, I done told you we go together. So
that's a whole nother. We're gonna address that propaganda.
I'm not gonna be out here telling
in another episode.
I feel like we got too much black and white.
No, but some people are like that. Some people are like that. Some people are
like that.
Just like I cannot be like that. That's fine. You don't have to do the in between.
Yeah,
there's so many different levels for each person and each relationship.
Like that sounds so odd to me because like I have so many spectrums. So
Koya would be like, no.
Or we together? No, I have like
and drive for me.
She don't mean like together, like okay, we trying to get married, but she like we are. If we're doing this, we are going to be. But you outline that, you communicate that with them.
We had that conversation. You know what's up. So
like if I go forward to this level, right?
If I introduce you to somebody and you're my boyfriend, and I introduce you to my friend, you should know, because I done already told you how I roll. That's actually my friend. Like, that's actually my
issue. Once I have stated to you what your place is with me, you shouldn't be questioning me anymore.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And I think a lot of times what happens with a lot of people is if you don't say, and I had to learn this probably in my early 30s, was like if you don't say it up front, hey, after a couple of times in the bedroom or whatever, I'm looking at you in a different light, bro. So we need to make sure we have the same information. And
Right.
it's fine if you're not agreeing to it, but this is how I am with my body and how I do things. So if you don't want to do that, that's cool. It's not a big deal. But this is me. I don't do the whole we friends,
Right.
benefits. I'm hanging
And you
out
are
with you.
very clear. You as a person are very clear. So if that happens to you,
It
then it's
happens all the time, though.
but,
It happens all the time
but I
because
know that there are more unclear
yeah,
situations
yeah.
that
They're
people,
lying. That's that other story. That's what I talk about putting it on the table. That's what I
Yeah.
mean by men always like have a more of a mindset to just have it open on the table. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they just trying to get their rocks off, but they're not being honest about that, and they don't want
Mm-hmm.
to lose the opportunity to get their rocks
right,
off. Because they told you that, for instance, Koya may be like, "Okay, we could talk about that. That's a different relationship." Lily's
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Nope, I want to be on this." Like, but
Yep.
that's what it should be. You
Oh,
should
right,
be okay with saying,
right.
"I'm
I
trying to get my
feel this
rocks off."
for
Instead of saying,
Toya.
"No,
Toya
okay,
can help
move
you. I
on."
can't help you. I'll be like, here's her number. She will be your confidant, your therapist, your whatever you want to do. Koya is like open. She's so and
But
she's
she's not that open though. At
well,
the same time, she gonna be like,
well,
"Who? You was trying?
who
You
you
was
know
trying
no,
what
to smash
I'm
Lily,
saying
though? You
like
you
can't
you
said
come at me.
what?
You was trying to smash Lily. Get out of here!"
You get
Like,
out of here right.
like some people just have it. I don't have that. I can't see you as you
No,
got
but the fact
figure
that
out
you are
somewhere.
clear, the fact that you are clear about that is important. Like even if I have gray area, I am still very clear with the person I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
right, Haisha. I'm
But
not messing up my point place in line for nobody. They got me messed up. I'm gonna get mine when it's on the table because I don't have
oh,
any chances to
Matt,
eat.
That's
Matt,
all I'm saying.
Matt,
That's all I'm saying.
Matt. Uh, hold on. So Marcus said, "What's the difference between standard and expectation?" This is a great question because there is a difference. I think.
Hmm. Are you
I
asking me or he's asking you
As
all?
the
no,
Matthew.
this is the question, but I'm going to say what I think about this. So for me,
Mm.
I guess they could be the same, but I feel like you have to set and express your standards with no expectations, but understanding that you put the information out there, right? The expectation, this is what's wrong with expectations. If you have expectations, you're going to be disappointed, period. That is how I feel. This is how I feel about expectations. Standards, though, is a safeguard to what you are willing to deal with and not deal with. Like it is your boundaries. I think that we get the word standard mixed up because societal standard has become this thing like we have to do this, we have to look like this, we have to maneuver with these labels, we have to do this, this, and this. So I don't believe in societal standards, but I believe in having and setting standards that work for you. If you are good with an open relationship, that's your standard. If you're good with a monogamous relationship, that's your
That's
standard.
your standard.
But your expectations, that's like, don't put your expectations in a box where you waiting for people to meet these standards and you waiting to see what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Don't do that. I
A
wouldn't have no.
like a proper expectation is to be respected, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also a minimum standard though.
I think standards
You
are
should expect to
yeah,
be respected,
minimum.
but that's a minimum standard. A
Yeah,
high standard is how you treat
that's how and respect is
you know what
how.
I'm saying? Is a high standard is getting into how you're treating this particular person according to your relationship and making sure that you're meeting
Mhm.
Right,
the requirements that fulfill the balance.
right,
I
Not
right.
have
fulfill
a
the
different
needs,
on
but
that.
fulfills the balance. That's another word we use a lot. Fulfills the needs. I need somebody to fulfill my needs.
I have a
Well,
whole nother take on that. I have a
well,
take on standards.
those
Standards
needs,
need
you have your own needs. I'm not here for your needs.
standards are a totally different thing to me. Standards
I forgot I had
are
a light.
standards to me are the mirror, right? Like
Okay.
what standards I set for myself is what I set for anybody that
Okay.
I'm in close relationship with. It's like that do unto others. Like I'm not going to do you dirty this way, that way, the other, and I expect the same. That's how standards and expectations work for me. Like this is the boundaries right here, the standards and all of the things that I am I am
You have
prepared, willing to
because
do.
you set standards clearly. That's why.
Huh?
Because you set your standards clearly.
Oh yeah.
That's why you have expectations.
Now I do, yes.
Right.
Yeah, now. Yeah, because it's one of those things I'm learning still, like, okay, there are certain things that on a value level I'm not okay with.
Okay.
And so I because I'm not okay with it, the first thing is vetting, right? Any kind of friendship, relationship, if you're not vetting, and I'm just learning all this stuff really, if you're not really vetting like people's values, then you gonna think that you using proper resources to vet somebody, and then what happens is you learn that the values and the standards and all of that is totally different from what you actually want and what you actually do on your own time. Like if I don't do X, Y, and Z, and I think that that's unhealthy or unproductive or something like that, if that's a standard that I have, then if you accept it from somebody else, you're lowering your expectations at that point because it should meet, it's like a mirror. They both should meet, mirror each other, like standards and expect. It should mirror exactly what you say you're about. Should be whatever you're accepting. You know what I mean? It's and people don't do that a lot. So what happens is you meet somebody, you like them.
Do you think that when you start something with someone, do your standards ever shift?
Hold on, try that again. You were breaking up.
Yeah, say that one more time.
Do your standards ever shift when you're already you've set the standard in a situation, right? In a relationship. And while you're in a relationship, have you had moments where you've had to shift what those initial standards were?
I've done it and it's been to the detriment, so I will never do it again.
Now, what if you evolved as a person and some of your standards shifted in the relationship?
I think when you say evolve, you mean evolve in a positive way, or
either way, it doesn't matter.
I think for me, if my core standards don't change, right? They've always actually been the same. It's just if I'm going to actually enforce them and implement them on myself and what I will accept from others. Because you can't make somebody do anything, but it's about what you accept. Okay. Like if the person is a POS, then they are POS.
Right.
And it is what it is. But if you're willing to accept whatever crap they're giving you in return for whatever they're fulfilling at the time for you, then yeah, you could say you lower your standards, you change your standard. You know what I'm saying? So I've done that plenty of times, which is why I'm now starting to understand, like, oh, okay, well, no, this I have to go by my own rule book for myself. Like, I'm hardworking. I do this. I do that. Da, 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 da. These are the things that I have placed value on in myself that make my life positive, that make my life thrive. And so whatever person I'm going to be with or whatever needs to have the same thing, if not more. You know what I mean? I can't go below that bar.
So question, when you with your standards, do you always have the same blueprint for your relationships? Because you can still have the same standards, right? Does your blueprint look the same? Like the type of like what that actual relationship looks like the rules, the boundaries, what y'all do together, what y'all don't do together. Do those things stay the same every person you date? With those
I think like, what do you mean do together? Like activities or
anything? Just the overall relationship, like a blueprint of the relationship. Like if you have a traditional relationship, like we follow these traditional rules. We are monogamous. We're together. We do this. Do you apply that same thing to is
Oh,
every relationship the same when you are in the boyfriend stage?
Yeah,
Like,
every relationship is monogamous. Every relationship is don't lie, cheat, steal. Every relationship is don't put your hands on me. Every relationship is the same standard wise for me. Beginning, yeah, absolutely. That's the point. Like, this is who I am. I don't do these things. I do these things. I place value in this. I place value in that. These things make me feel safe. These things don't. So when somebody matches with that, great.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? So we start the relationship, and then you start finding out that, oh, maybe this person is not comfortable not lying or not hiding stuff, or maybe this person doesn't know how to not do that. You know what I mean? So that's when it doesn't work. But for the most part, I'm upfront about what I'm about. Like, yeah,
right,
I have had relationships with people some years back where certain things were done, and I'm like, that's not okay. And I don't know why you thought that was okay when you're with me. You know what I mean? Because at the beginning of this thing, I told you what's up. And so if you weren't okay with that, you could have said it then and you could have been on your
right.
own way.
That's
But
where
I'm
it gets
always
messed up, I think, too. I think
I,
people
I
agree
think
to
the
things.
baseline, yeah. It's a
I think
baseline.
people agree to things before they're ready. And it's kind
Yeah,
of what Matthew was speaking on earlier, was agreeing to things before you're ready and then
yeah,
being upset,
yeah.
you
That
know,
didn't
for
turn
things.
out right. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and that comes from not knowing yourself, right? Not even knowing your own values. Because if you turn around and do that to that same person, they're gonna be just as pissed, if not more heartbroken, right?
Yeah.
So it's a thing of, first of all, we're all relatively young. So any relationship, it was young, and we probably weren't all the way self-evolved. So I feel like I'm pretty much, I mean, we're all evolving, but I know myself, right? I know who I am. I know what I'm about. I know what I will and will not accept. And I know what I will and not and will and will not do to someone else, right? I know what I'm capable of, and I know what values I have. So I go in, I won't say naive, but with like positive thoughts, because I'm not a negative person. So I don't go in with ulterior motives. But what happens
mm,
is, it doesn't mean that the other person might not develop some ulterior motives if things are going differently in their life, or if they haven't set any value or placed any value on themselves. So
mhm.
a
Right.
lot of
Or
times
if
it's
the
like
value that they do place is
it
on
doesn't.
superficial or
Right, right,
physical or certain types of needs.
exactly.
And like
Yeah,
Stacy is talking about a story that talks about unmatched love languages, which preaches
yeah,
to that
that's
is
true.
understanding of thyself, understanding what
Uh,
your needs in yourself are from different types of partners. My same love language for my relationships romantically are the same things that Koya and I have to deal with.
Yep.
yeah,
She knows what type of person I am, what I need for love, like what type, and knows how to give it, and
Right.
vice versa. It's
mhm,
not just about romance.
Right.
right, right. It's about who you vibe with,
And
who's
it's
your tribe.
I also
Yeah,
think people forget the love language thing is they forget to reverse it. It is about how you receive love, but it's also about how that person gives love, because they can't. I always say that, like my mom, who's a giver, which is why I am, and sometimes we don't get back the same thing. And I
yeah,
explain to her sometimes that, well, that's not the part that feeds us. The part that feeds us is this, this, and this, but it doesn't mean that we don't also
yeah.
appreciate something
Hmm.
that maybe not might not be our love language. But I had to learn that, like, my dad's love language is very much so like monetary things and gifts, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And for him, being able to do that, to provide financially, to be able to give you gifts, that is great for him. And
Exactly.
some of us are uncomfortable with it, but we know that that makes him feel good, so we have to allow that, as well as showing him how we show our love.
Hmm.
But I think we also forget to both do it on both ends, and I think we do think it only applies to romantic relationships.
Well, yeah,
And
people do that. Period. Like, you hear women say, like, he gotta have money, he gotta have this and have that, and they don't have any of those things, or vice versa. She gotta have this, she gotta have that, she need to be like this, and that the person that's saying it, you're like, how could you expect that when you don't even possess that yourself? So if you
right,
if you really start to look at platonic relationships and other relationships, it's give and take on both ends, but it starts with the people, right? So if there's a mismatch, then it's just not going to work, whether it's platonic or not. Like Matt and I have been friends for a long time because we just both are like people who understand people. Like it was immediate friendship, and that was that's all it's ever going to be, because it's just like this is a person that I can rely on. This is the person who will tell me straight up and down, like, you wrong, you right, whatever. You know, this is a person that if we're out, he's protective.
Yep.
All the things he would be in a relationship with a woman that he's trying to be romantic with, but he knows how to transfer that over into all of his other interactions.
And you know what I think we learned too, Lily, having a male friend like him.
Yeah.
Here's what I learned is that we don't have to have every single thing that we need in our partner.
Right.
It doesn't all have to be in your romantic relationship. Every single thing does not have to be from that relationship.
No, there's a hierarchy, right? So I learned in therapy there's like a whole hierarchy. Like there's a foundation of things that matter across the board.
Right.
And you can't miss anything on this foundation. You know what I mean? You gotta have all of this for this thing to work. So once that's there, you know, you can go without certain things, or give people time to learn, give people time to grow. But what happens is people's core will be affected, and they'll still be trying to like hold on to a relationship that's not working, or hold on to a friendship that's not good. Like if your good girlfriend who y'all been friends all the time, now y'all grown, right? And she's acting a fool, messing her life up, not being responsible, not taking care of herself, not taking care of her kids, drink. Like that happens a lot, right? When we grow up, we grow out of people. But some people don't know how to actually like grow out, right? And so it becomes this sort of lopsided situation. And when it's platonic between men and women, what I usually see is, because this has happened to me, somebody will get married or something, right? And then you're still trying to be friends with this man or woman who is married, and it's different now. And whatever y'all, you know, used to kick it, key, and have a good time, that's not because wifey or husband is looking, a hubby is like, who is that? Like, I know that's your people and all of that, but you know, that type of stuff is over. Some people's marriages are like that, and you gotta respect it. I've lost, now I won't say lost, but like I've had to literally like be like, damn, I can't even hit up my homeboy because his wife doesn't do female friends. She's just against it.
Yeah, that's
who he married.
I mean, sometimes girlfriends don't even
That's
do
the
that.
root to this whole conversation.
Yeah,
Why
sometimes
do we have to lose your friendship?
But you have to have respect for a person. If you love somebody, I don't care what's going on. You know, I'm going through kind of a situation like that. You love somebody, you just like, you know what, I got you no matter what. If it's away from me, great. If it's, you know, so if it's my real friend, like if Matt gets married and the woman is like, nah, not that that's this, because Matt isn't like that, but just say if he gets married,
never
and somebody, but that's what I'm saying. But just hypothetically, Koya,
they would not be walking down the aisle, okay?
Hypothetically, Koya.
Sabotage.
Oh my God, you are like the bouncer. You are like Matt's person. Koya is so ridiculous, but I love it because she's so protective. But like, for real, like if that happens, I would be brokenhearted. Like, damn, she don't want us to come around,
bruh. But we've been in that situation. We've had those situations.
But if my friend Matthew says, "Listen,
we can't hear you, Matthew.
You're on mute." If my friend Matthew tell me, "Look, I gotta,"
still here.
Oh.
If my friend Matthew tell me, I gotta fall back on the friendship stuff for a while and take care of this over here, I respect it because I love my friend. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it feels.
Right.
So
respect it, but tell me something ain't right, because that ain't
right. Tell you,
right.
But at least for the mean, you know, in the time being, me and Chloe gonna plot. It's cool. But before that, we gonna back off. But we gonna plot.
Right. I mean, it gets to the point where we are so good of friends with Matthew that when he goes missing in a relationship, we both call each other like, "Hey, yo, have you talked to Matthew?
Right.
Yo, he's not a good relationship. He's isolated." Like,
that's
bro.
very true. Because you need a tribe. I have girlfriends, like, I know Haitian was on here. I'm like, that's like family. I'm going to go find her if I don't hear from her.
Right.
If I don't hear from you, I'm coming to your house. What's
Right.
going on? Like, we are literally like a tribe. So I can't just not hear from you for 2 months. I don't what's going on. Like, that's
Right.
just how it works for me.
And let me tell you
So,
something what I have told females that don't like men to have female friends. I said, why? It's so much less work for you.
well, I'll
Like,
say this.
so it helps you. It helps when men make dumb decisions. When men don't know what to do for their jumps. When they don't know what to get, what to fix, they don't know nothing. Sometimes, okay, and sometimes we take them out of that because look, I have watched my sister in a best friend situation forever, and they both are married now. They are all friends. They're all cool, and they've known each other since middle school, and it's the only way it can happen is the fact that his wife was open and understood the place of our family and his friendship with my sister. She understood it. She trusted her dude, and that's the problem. If you don't trust your man, then you should not be with him anyway. So you ain't gonna trust nothing around him anyway.
Well, here's the other thing though, because I've seen this happen before. I've seen it. As the woman friend,
Okay.
certain dudes, I'm not talking about Matthew. You be the scapegoat when niggas is doing shit they ain't got no business doing. And when
Facts.
you don't know you the scapegoat,
Facts.
she gonna be looking at you like,
Boy.
so you with it? Like, and you
So
be like, what happened?
You be like, what?
That happens so much, especially when 20s, early 30s. Like, it happened so much, and it was just like, well, I didn't even know that I was the scapegoat because dummy didn't tell me. But but I mean,
Just lie, damn it. It's like, no.
But I don't put that situation.
Nah, but I know when stuff is jarring. I know stuff can be jarring. Like, I know that back in the day when I used to date people when I was young and I had a whole crew of dudes in my house, you coming to the house to date me in the house, and there's nothing but men around.
That's true. And also, like, I look at it like this, like, some of us are just I don't know what the word is. I don't know how to explain this. Y'all probably already covered this, but I'm very close to my father and my brother and my male family members and my, distant male family members. Like, we're very cool. We just get along, we vibe. And I'm close with all of them, male and female. But I'm just saying, I have a long line of defense there when it comes to males. Like, it's a bunch of them. So I'm quite used to being around them. I'm comfortable. And I'm also more, I'm more open to the thought process of sometimes how men can think. I can understand it. I don't like a lot of it, but I can understand how they get there.
That's why you're so black and white about things.
Yeah.
That's why you're so black, because you're like, I know you want to do that. I'm not giving you no teeter totter.
No, because
that's fine, because some men need that, and the right man is gonna balance that and be like, okay, good. I don't have to teeter totter. She's not allowing it. It's all good.
I give people a table. I come to the situation with my own damn table. If you got a table, cool. We got 2 tables. Put your stuff on your table. I put my stuff on my table. If you ain't got no table, I mean, I used to work with people who ain't had no table. I think I'm done with that at this point in my life. But before that was cool. Like, okay, well, just put your stuff on my table and we'll figure it out. But if you come over there, be like keeping some stuff in your bag and don't put anything on the table.
Hey, I'm dead. I am dead off of that one.
Damn that, they come with nothing and taking all your stuff off the table.
That's what I'm just saying. Like, I think we learn and grow as we go, and that's cool. But my thing
I used to buy the table for them and put it together. How about that?
And they sitting there watching you put it together. I've been there too.
Right.
I've been on both sides. I've been on both sides, and all it goes to show that I'm not that black and white. I just have gotten to a point in my life where, like, you know what? I'm not about to play these games with you. I'm not Bob the Builder. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your mom. You know what I mean? You have to have some type of standards for yourself. Like, I would not come to a dude and be like, I like you and want to date you, and I'm all fucked up. I wouldn't do that because I need to be good before I can even present myself. Period. That's just how I am. So it's like, if I am doing that, if my value system is that, then that's what I need to be looking for or accepting. I'll say that. I won't say looking for, just that's what I'm cool with. You got your life together. You are a whole human being. Cool. Then so am I. You know what I mean? But when you start sort of, like I said, chipping away at the foundation of who you are as a person, and then you want the person to come to you, with all this stuff, it's like, well, you ain't really ready.
Right.
It's just kind of how how it works. It has to. I guess it's in the Bible and all that. It's like equally yoked. Like, yeah, you have to. That's a real thing.
Yeah,
It
no,
really
no,
is a real
no.
thing.
It is
And that
absolutely
means, and we're
a
gonna get
real
into
thing.
that.
It's a real thing.
But wait, hold on, Matt. So Julian said he can accept a male friend is that a male is a friend with the girl, but that he's talking to, because half the time you know everybody in the circle. But that's also what I'm saying about transparency.
Yeah.
It is really important to, if you have male friends, a group of male friends, especially, when you are dating someone, you need to put them in a space with those men, because they need to be able to feel like their relationship is not in jeopardy,
Or in
and
the
they
space
need,
with those women, right? Exactly. Yep.
or the women, and the women too, and it's, I don't know if it goes as well on that side with I don't know what that looks like, because
It
I don't.
depends.
Well, it should, because to be honest, like, I don't even like get further with than a little bit with a woman if I can't bring her around either one of you and get some type of good vibes. If one of y'all be like, man, I don't know, because if I get a little inkling from one of y'all be like, Lily, give me
I
some
ain't gonna say
places.
what I'm
She
saying.
be like, I'll tell you later. When Lily talk about some shit later, it means that something ain't right. So
Mm-hmm.
she gonna do an investigation. She gonna come back with some shit.
At
So
first,
I found
in the
out that
beginning,
Like,
Joe.
I've only done that once or twice. Don't do that.
But
That's
I'm just saying, though. I'm just
I've
saying.
only
Like,
done that like once or twice though. Like, when I was like, you know what, I don't know about Shawty. She might be scamming. I don't know. It's because I'm a
Julian is right. Julian is right. Julian said with the girl it's a fight because they don't trust each other, and you are right. That's why I said what I said, because females know females,
I ain't gonna
and
go along with that. I'm not gonna go along with that. I'm gonna tell you why.
at least
I'm
if you can
on
get past
opposite side.
the barrier of you two, I know, okay, they may still be crazy, but they not that crazy.
I ain't gonna say women automatically be on some hostile stuff with other women. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna tell
if
you
your
what.
man has a bunch of women around him, is what I'm saying.
I've been in a relationship, his name will not be mentioned, with somebody we all know who has had several female friends, and I mean a whole lot of them. I'm still friends with half of the girls now.
Yeah,
And I don't
fact.
know if he's friends with them. Okay, that's just how that went. So I don't really believe that. I just think it depends on.
And I'm not speaking about me, because I usually don't. People just usually like me, but because I'm
Like,
friendly and I just be chilling. But I have seen that go down, and it don't go
but
down the same way.
I've seen that, but my thing is, like, it's the man's responsibility to say and put. It's just like it's your
You hear
responsibility,
what you just said?
huh?
Now you expect that the man knows how to properly engage his friends to engage with his junk.
We are adults, and if I can do it, brother, you can do it. Okay, and if you can't,
No,
then hey.
they
But
have to be
my
taught.
thing is,
No, they have to
nothing
be
is.
shown and taught.
But see,
Shown
I
and
don't,
taught.
I don't believe in that because
You
that's
don't
the
believe
way.
that you have to be shown and taught? Yes, you
I
do.
don't, I don't believe that the men automatically can't just understand that. Like, it's
I'm not
boundaries.
saying to understand it. I'm saying, are they going to take the action
If they're
to
not trying
make
to
sure
do
it's
nothing
okay,
dirty,
or are they going to
sure.
say y'all just being females? You be fine.
No, I don't think so. Because when I was dating said person, he was like, "This is my girlfriend. These are my best friends. These are my homies." Da, 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 da. He introduced me like that. He
Mm-hmm.
introduced me as such, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay. And I just took it as that. And it was just that. And it was just simple. Like, okay, I didn't necessarily like all of everybody because personalities, but I never made it like known, like I don't like her and all that. It was just more like, you know what? That's not my
Your
cup of
your
tea.
and your discretion against a particular person, no matter who they may be, did not have it did not have to do with their relationship per se with your man. It just happened to be like I
It
just
was,
not getting a vibe from that
yeah,
person.
we
We ain't
just
got
didn't.
the vibe with everybody. Like her male friends. I
And
ain't
I
got the
feel
vibe
like that, but
with
I feel
all of
like
them.
that's
They may be dummies to me or
but
whatever, but I
that's
feel like
very but this is a
some
very
of
unique man, that's a very unique situation. Most females who are dating a man, okay, Lily, how many of Matthew's girlfriends has liked you off break?
He's only had what, two that I've actually met. Three. I don't know if he was going with her, but three, I think. Only one didn't like me, but she did like me at first. And then she didn't like me no more. I don't know what happened. But only no, I've never had an issue with
what
any
you
of my
talking about.
problem with any of my girlfriends. We've
Like
always
I
been
don't even care. Like who you talking about?
I would say, okay, Marissa was cool with off break.
Mm.
Clarice was cool off break, and then she went somewhere else with it, and so I whatever. And then I don't even know what was going on with you and Jocelyn, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But she
Mm.
was like cool to me. She was always cool to me. Like those are the three. So they were always cool with me from jump. Cause I literally like he didn't have to say it, but he already said it. But if he didn't say it, I would say it. And it was just how we were interacting. Like this ain't you could tell like this is not what that is.
Yeah, that sound cute. That don't work for me and him. Like he has
Wow.
literally calls me, talks about me as his sister
Right.
before we even meet.
That's
Before we
very
even meet.
strange.
And every single one, except for maybe two.
Wow. I've never had an issue. I'm
The
telling you.
only one that didn't question it is maybe at some point it was maybe a question, but was because they knew the friend groups, you know. But
Mhm.
the rest of them had an issue.
Mhm. I ain't never had an issue. But I also
So
think
I know for sure. I
that's
know for sure that it ain't. It's lopsided. It's lopsided.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure
They I
women be side eyeing, but
He
you know.
has hung out with me and my dude way more exclusively than I have hung out with him and girlfriends.
I agree.
If that makes sense.
That happens. Yeah, I agree. I can say that the
And
same
that is
thing.
partially what I'm saying is though, Matthew, is that partially that is his fault because what he didn't address was the uncomfortability there was.
Mm.
Well,
That's what I men do not
let's talk
men do
about
not men
dress.
don't address it. He brushed it off like she'll be all right. I told her what it is. She'll be fine. You see what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
that's what I mean by I was like, she's not gonna be fine. And if you
Better
don't
not
Well,
clean
have no
this up,
issue, cuz like nah.
if you
well,
don't
but let's
if
be
you don't
honest
clean this up,
though.
you're gonna have an issue.
There was some emotional instabilities in all of these individuals. Okay.
We talked about that, Joe Brown Sugar. That's one of our
Hold on,
propaganda pieces.
what's the dude gonna play easy because he's gonna try to tell us something else? What is a junk? A friend, a homie, or a girlfriend? Which noun does that fall under or resonate with? I use junk
Oh, Joan is it's such
in
a noun.
multiple
What
ways,
y'all saying?
Marcus.
It
Marcus, I use junk in multiple ways.
definitely not a girlfriend though.
A
Well, yes, it
junk
could be. Yes, it could, because it could be like,
could
nah,
be
that's
a
my jump.
girlfriend if she a junk.
You can say, nah, that's my jump right there.
But
Like
you could be like, that's my junk. Or
it's
you
all
could be
about
like,
context.
"You
Only DC
junk."
will really be able
You
to
just want you Marcus,
decipher
you
it.
just have to hear what how we're saying it in what way I'm using it to know exactly what I'm saying.
You get it when I say it. You get it
But if
when you.
it's a friend, a homie, or a girlfriend, I'm probably gonna call it that though. Like if it's a girlfriend, I will address now if it's an ex-girlfriend, I might call her a junk. So any junks that I might have talked about today, they're probably ex-girlfriends of his.
That's what we talked about, Jewel. We talked about that people have seen it go
Yeah,
both
brown
ways.
sugar, loving
But
basketball.
we also talking about that's propaganda partially by the media. Like we see these false connections of, oh, this possibly my soulmate, and also proximity. We talked about that earlier.
Yep.
Like that's the formula of the maybe soulmate and proximity coming together. Like we should be together. Maybe it should have just been friends. Koya and I are soulmates and we're in proximity. We are not
Right.
nowhere ever going to in any time in three,
Ever.
5D, 6D, this life or the next one be together. So, like, it don't always go like that.
Nope.
But
Yeah.
we gotta in condition in our mind that you can't have platonic relationships because of those situations. I think those situations are more rare than they are common. Usually, the situations of friends that end up getting
What is the
together
definition of platonic?
or sleeping together. Look it up. I don't know.
I'll look
Uh,
it up.
Yeah, look it up.
or
Lily.
sleeping together has to do with the fact that um I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Got it.
Sleep-
Platonic, of love or friendship, intimate and affectionate, but not sexual.
Okay. This is why this word gets tricky. Because there are so many male and female people who have attraction towards each other, who are friends, who have never done anything, but would if the opportunity presented itself.
Mm-hmm.
There are more of those friendships, I actually believe, than anything.
But there's
I
nothing
think,
wrong with that
but
either.
there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it gets tricky because we have got to be transparent about what's on the table and what ain't on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And until we are transparent, I'm not saying that you got to go tell every dude that you want to smash, every junk you want to smash. That, like, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we do have to be more transparent to ourselves. We be lying to ourselves sometimes. That's why stuff be so tricky and messy, because sometimes we be like, I don't know, like, and I think that's where those little lines get crossed for show. Because one person will show interest and then you be like, well, I didn't even look at it like that. Like, and I think that's where that betrayal comes in, Lily, that we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
I just want people to feel so betrayed when that happens, because sometimes people just don't know how to maneuver through feeling attraction.
Right. And you
That's
can
it. And
practice
they really
somebody,
being
but that don't mean you
respectful.
want to do all that.
Now,
They're being respectful.
Drew just hit
What?
on a good point that points to a lot. She talked about the challenge is the mental intimacy with friends. Folks are more open and honest with friends than girl or boyfriends. And therein lies the real issue is that
Oh,
there's two factions because you have people that believe that oh, once we are together, once we are married
Uh,
or we in a relationship, like you should not have any other communication with any other female or male about anything else. You
mm-mm.
shouldn't have any other mental intimacy. They think that mental intimacy always is some sort of
like romantic situation.
adulterous type of thinking, and it's not.
Right,
Intimacy does not mean sex or romance. Intimacy means deep
right,
deep understanding or conversation of each other's
right.
thought. Like intimacy, that's what intimacy is. Just it could be romantic, it could be sexual, it could be this, but
I'm gonna
it's
put
not.
my trick finger up.
That's why in platonic it says
I but I
intimacy.
think the issue, Matthew, really is that the reality of it is
Mhm.
your friends, especially if a close, like me, Matthew, no one's gonna know me and you the way we know each other. It's not possible. You're never gonna catch up to it. It's not humanly possible to catch up to our history. We have known each other since we were 5 and 6.
Mhm.
So you're never going to be able to mirror that the relationship we have, the connection we have, the history, the knowledge. You're not going to find out every single thing that we know about each other. We don't even remember half of it. So where we get, I think, a little tricky is that I do take more time to open up to people that I like in that way. I do take more time to trust me even giving you all that background, and I at
Right.
39, At 39, I'm not fitting to deep dive unless I'm investing some time, and you know what I'm saying. And so you can't be walking
Right.
around here because you don't know what Matthew know.
Yeah, I'll chime in on that. So again, I was telling y'all about my friend that got married, and we can't talk anymore. And the reason why his wife said that we can't be friends like that anymore is because he was telling me intimate details about their relationship that she wasn't comfortable with. And so I have to respect that, even though that's just what we do. You know, we gonna talk,
You don't know what Matthew know.
huh?
All right, sorry, go ahead. It was Facebook. But go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, like that's mental intimacy. What Matt was saying is something that it's something that you have to be responsible about. It's
His
not
wife was
just it's not just well, that's my friend and I can tell them anything. No, because when you decide to bring another person in and this is your romantic partner or your union or whatever you want to call it when if it gets there, the friendships don't go to the back burner. It just looks different. Maybe you used to talk to them about all your male and female problems. You know what I mean? And that still can go. But you might want to have the conversation with your significant other if it's okay for you to tell your significant other's business to your friend, because I've been on the receiving end of that. I've been with somebody telling all my business to somebody else. And when I see the other person, it's like, how you know it? Well, I didn't, we don't kick it like that. So how you know my business? And I had to straighten it out. Like, look, bro, if you want to talk about you and what you going through, that's fine.
Right.
But leave me and what I got going on.
okay, and that
Because,
allows me to chime in
yeah,
to that because that is a good. There's another thin line.
it's a
You
thin line.
have to. Oh man.
It's a very,
Um.
very thin line.
It's a thin line. Like we, boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
It's
I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about it because when you talk about that situation, and I'm thinking about my personal situations, like
Mhm.
we try, like for me personally, I've been in that, I've been ridiculed the same way. You telling this person all of our shit, ooh, 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 we should be talking about that together. We should be trying
Right.
to figure out. But let me tell you something. I try to talk about things from my perspective. Like, you
Mhm.
know me. Am I okay? How can I fix myself? Am I
Mhm.
wrong? But in order to do that,
You got to
I
tell
have
what
to sometimes disclose some extra information.
and that
Understand
be
why
and
I'm
that be
thinking
the
the way
problem.
I'm thinking, or why I'm moving how I'm moving,
That be the
because
most
I
problem.
know this. Because if I don't do that, you or Koya, who are my confidants as women,
Mhm.
you two gonna be like, but why, man? Well, I don't
Yo,
understand. And then I have to
he tries
explain,
to
and
do
then they're
that.
gonna be
It
like,
doesn't
oh,
work
Matt did this, da,
ever.
da, 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 da. You know what I'm
Matt, it
saying? But
never
you
works
guys,
with you. It never works with you because we know you're right. And that's what I'm trying to explain. Like, we don't even I don't even dig in the same way with men I'm dating now that I'm just getting to know now, because I don't know them well enough to dig in that way. I know Matthew well enough where I'm like, but wait, why would that happen if you was doing this? You said you was doing this. I'm confused. And
Mhm.
then you catch him in the lie.
Mhm.
And then you be like, oh, now
Yeah.
we gotta get the backstory. And then we
Yeah.
get the backstory. And then you end up knowing so much more about that situation than you really expected to.
Yeah.
And so it
Absolutely.
becomes this like deep seated conversation that really started from like him asking a simple question.
Yeah. And
But
that,
and
but
I
it's
don't
also
feel like
about you all not using that against that person openly in certain ways, because you still understand that we're building our relationship and you're trying to help me because
right,
I'm telling you that I want to be better for this at this time, regardless of how you feel about it. You're going to tell me, well, but do this because this should work. Like,
he-
even if you don't like it, you all both will give me the advice that should
yeah.
work in the situation for
right,
me to
Yeah.
handle the relationship and
Yeah.
right.
not put it on like, oh, she crazy, like fuck that girl, like trying to
Oh,
That's what they think. They think that you're trying to sabotage the relationship because you may not like them. No, you don't like them, but you'll let me be in it for 100 years,
100
not liking
years.
it, don't being
And
miserable. You
listen,
need to learn, y'all. That's
we
the
stuck
difference.
by you through someone. And all I'm gonna say is that
Multiple ones.
I tried my hardest to be nice and cordial, right? Because that's just what adults do. That's just what adults do. But I've been, like I said, on the receiving end where I'm getting looks and eye rolls from my ex person's best friend. And I'm like, why is she acting funky? And oh, so you've been telling her what the fuck I just told you. I was talking to you. You know what I mean? And you didn't even listen to what I said. Now you're gonna go repeat it to her because you want somebody to back you up. But so now she's in our conversation to the point where it's you don't like me because of something I said or did in my relationship with him. But he ain't telling you everything. He telling you all my stuff. And
Right.
that's why I said
The backup.
mental intimacy, having that shoulder to lean on and stuff like that, very important in platonic relationships. But there is boundaries. Talk about yourself. Don't talk about me. You can say what happened because in
Right.
every disagreement, there's facts. This happened, then this happened. Fine, whatever actually happened, talk about that. But your thoughts and all the da 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 da, and then she ganging up with you, and she ain't shit. You see how she is. That's not cool. Like that.
Right.
Well, not only that, and
The back you up
I
part.
don't like when it turns and shifts into like they,
Yeah.
because he's trying to, like, perfect example, Matthew might be trying to have a conversation with someone he's dating,
Mm-hmm.
and they may have a situation, they may be upset about something. But what will happen is, in him trying to defend himself in an argument, he may slip in so and so. See, I was talking about this with Koya yesterday, and then it becomes this thing where the girlfriend's like, she don't like me because, and I'm like, I don't have nothing to do with you. This is about my brother. Like, I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
just,
I
but
get in the middle
it
of it.
becomes tricky, and sometimes you have to be careful about what you share with your mate about your best friendships,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right. And because
and vice
you
versa.
also should not be going to your best friend and your platonic friends, like we talked about earlier. If you know they ain't doing stuff right, don't talk to
Right,
them about that particular thing. Only talk to those in your circle that are doing the things right. Like Stacy said, model after the right thing. My favorite saying is, it's okay to copy as long as you copying the right cat. You hear me?
Yeah.
It's okay to be a copycat as long as you copying the right cat. If you copying the wrong cat, you're gonna be hurt out here. So,
right,
don't go to your friend looking for them to back you up all the time.
Yeah.
right.
85% of the time, you and Koya are like, Matthew, you were wrong.
Most of the time. And Kai is excuse me, Sosa said people gonna pillow talk though. I agree.
Oh, people are definitely going to pillow talk.
That's a
Absolutely.
whole difference. That's a whole difference.
Don't
But
stay on the pillow.
but but
Um,
it needs to stay on the pillow on both ends. Like,
yeah,
Matthew could pretty much tell me anything about his relationship, and at no point is that person ever going to find out what I know and what I
yeah,
don't know.
We have to
yeah,
value our relationship and our friendship and our security, as well as I need to value that friendship and relationship and the security, because
yeah.
that relationship I'm having with my, let's say, girlfriend or
Mhm.
whoever I'm
Yeah.
in, that's new.
But
Right,
We're
also
still
you brought
building
in
up. We're still working on the trust. Now, 10 years, 50, some
That's
change
it.
down the line, that's different. But by then, our shift
but
in
I feel like
balance
mature
between
women.
our best friends in that relationship will still shift, but there will still be a balance.
Yeah,
Well,
you
Shit,
still
when
have to
my
help
when,
them.
wife
when
may
men
be
and
coming to
women,
you, Koya, like, listen, let me tell you something about your
but that's
brother.
what I'm saying. When men and women are
I
healthy,
want that.
but no, when men and women are healthy, those friends do reach out to us. Those
Mm-hmm.
relationships do reach out. You have had many conversations with Julian when we were together that I still don't know what was said. Like,
That's
you,
true.
because if you establish the friendships correctly, those women can come to us. They have, even when I ain't like them. You know what I'm saying? But I will still be there as your friend.
So
No,
said,
no, and no. Like, I'm not going to my girl talking to her if I have a girlfriend
you,
or woman. I'm not going
No,
to her talking to her about Koya's business.
Right,
no,
It
exactly.
doesn't pertain to her because I'm not
no.
going to her. I'm not going to Koya talking about her
And
business.
it slips up
I'm
by
talking
accident.
about my business. I only
It
talk
does
about
slip out
my
by
business.
accident. It slips out by accident. We
Now
sometimes
there may be some things I talk about like
information,
Koya, and of course we talk about these things with
but
our
we
friends.
also talk to each other about what
Koya
we
over here tripping. She talk about
I,
like sometimes I need to
I,
vent to her because
yeah,
you getting on my nerves. You see what I'm
I,
saying?
I, I felt, I felt betrayed in that way in a past relationship with. We had a mutual friend that was his friend first, but then me and her became friends. And I felt like he was telling her stuff she should not know. That
right,
wasn't none of her damn business. If
right,
I wanted to tell her that, I would have told her that because I'm actually friends with her as well.
right,
So I understand we're gonna pillow talk, but I'm like, listen, talk about your shit. Talk about
right.
you. Talk about you. Because in this situation, we both know the person,
Yeah,
and if I want to have that conversation with her, then I will. And so it does get tricky. It does get tricky when you have, because we're all grown. We all have people we've known for years, for decades, since we were born. That's not going to change. And these people are going to be here whether you are or not, because this is family and all of that stuff. So
yeah.
it's like, setting those boundaries. And I think that it's important. I don't know if we do this, but I try to do this, is when you do find a significant other and you have all these friends that are the opposite sex, or even the same sex gender, excuse me, you want to make sure like that it's known, like I care about this person, he or she is my new person or my person, and you want to make it more of a, we're welcoming you into our little tribe that we have going on already. And
Right.
if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's a more mature and emotionally stable way of handling people having platonic friends. The reason why I think a lot of people are like, oh, he can't have no friends or she can't have no male friends, is because they don't know how to properly introduce that situation. It's like a wall up already, like, well, oh no, that person has a penis. Why is he around you? Like, because that's my homeboy.
And you
That's
know what's funny about that, Lily? You're right, because that's how I squashed that. Well, like with Julian, he already knew because we were friends before.
yeah,
But
that's different.
for
Yeah.
the most part, I am very clear. I am very clear with the men that I date, even now.
Yeah.
I even now still have male friend groups, and I'm like, I got dudes around me.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
they not going nowhere. They've been around, and some of them may come back in, and like I got circles of friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm always very upfront about that. I will tell a whole dude like, "Hey, you about to go to a party with a few dudes that I have interacted with, and I'm gonna let you know." And yeah, and they know who they are, where they at, and like we don't have no problems because
Yeah.
I'm open about that. And I don't care how long ago I talked to him. You ain't never gonna walk in a party with me or a situation or event with me and be dating me and don't know who in the room I has seen me naked. You will know.
Love it.
So but I keep that transparency on purpose.
Uh-huh.
Like it or
Yeah.
not. It don't matter if you like it or not. That's the
Right.
problem. People trying to always make please people. They don't- that's the problem with the whole question we're asking is, can we be friends? Can we just be friends?
Of course.
And we want, but everybody's so, the reason why it's hard because everybody wants to please everyone else. They want to please this, but and I've been a horrible person at it, and I've done better at it later on. Like I've cut people off when I shouldn't have because of another person's like, I don't want you talking to this person. Well, now it was a little more warranted that there was a different type of relationship. It wasn't platonic, but
Mm.
how I did it was wrong.
Yeah, I agree, Kai. And so, excuse me. So respect is key. It's key. Like, that's the bottom line. And honestly, I don't know if this is my Scorpio, but if you come into my life, you gonna have
This
to
is your
respect.
Scorpio.
You gonna have to respect it. These are my people. I chose these people. These are my people, and this is who I am. And these are the people I'm that back me up. You don't have to be friends with them if
Yeah, I
it
think we just
doesn't
have
work.
to stop. I think we have to stop generalizing
but these are my friends.
Yeah, we need to just stop generalizing people, because I think even more so now I'm having this issue now, like just in friendships and dating, it's like having to convince people that you're telling the truth about what you're looking for or what you believe in or how your friendships work.
The conversation is over because I ain't doing all that.
But it's because so you don't have to, because you are more traditional than I am. So you don't
Okay.
have to explain yourself a whole lot, because what I mean by that is you can say this is what I'm with, either you with it or you not. Mine is more of an explanation of like, are you with it or not? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's more so like having to convince people, like, oh my God, like, is she really not as traditional as I thought she was in my head? You know, and so I have to like,
Thanks,
it's
free
like,
money.
it's having to like break down.
You got to explain the nuances and things.
Yeah, well, more so the concept of like every time I meet a man that I'm interested in, I shift what I'm looking for with that person, because that energy may be only pulling from me a certain type of energy.
Got you.
So,
And that's
I
crazy.
get that. No,
That's turning a whole other thing. No,
that traditional. I understand that.
no, right. But
no, but
so for me it's a little more gray, because I'm more so like I don't, those things aren't together for me. So physical and mental are sometimes not together for me.
Right.
They are sometimes separate. So for me, and of course they can be together, of course.
Yeah, they need to
But
be.
but I think that where we trick each other up is this idea that men think this way and women think this way,
I know.
and then you hear people fighting about what they believe in within a conversation. You'll be like, oh well, I thought you were traditional. They'll be like, well, yeah, but no, I think I should have freedom and be able to do that. Then you ain't traditional, bro. Like, you know, you have to like, I think people don't even know they're allowed to have a different blueprint and relationships with people. Just be, you don't have to have a boyfriend and it looks this way, and
well,
that's
that
your
goes back to the whole reason why we this topic even exists is the fact that we've been conditioned to think that we are only supposed to have a specific type of relationship, this Euro colonistic, religious, patriarchal mindset. I keep using. I like to say this
Yes
because
and no.
I
Yes and no.
I do, but
some
I
people
believe.
need boundaries. Some people need relationships.
I
Well,
the
and
boundaries.
I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about boundaries or
I
tradition.
got
Like
Oh
to
no,
have.
no,
I'm
no,
talking
Matt.
about.
I'm saying some people need an actual standard relationship for boundaries for them.
Yes, that's fine.
That's me.
That's not what I'm talking about.
She said
I'm
that's
not
her.
talking about. I'm
That's because you
talking
were
about
Scorpio.
like I'm talking about the fact that mm, people get so ingrained into how
Yeah,
that should even be because they're following a
Absolutely.
system that
I agree.
is flawed. Don't
Absolutely.
follow a flawed system. Always create your own relationship between you and the person you're building a
That person.
relationship with,
And
depending
that's why
on
I asked
your
you what I
if
asked you
your
earlier.
and I don't even want to call her because I call that mindset the traditional mindset. We need to get away from that. I call your mindset, Lily, the Alicia mindset. This is you. You to have like this, and who deals with you has to deal with you like this, and you have to deal with them. How and y'all got to compromise and build together. That's it. Doesn't
Right.
it's nobody else's input matters.
I
Right.
don't know about compromising, but we'll talk about that later.
See, look,
Always, really, it's
she
always a
is
compromise.
traditional.
You can't.
Lily is traditional, bruh. She
No,
is
she's not.
traditional.
She's not because when you
She
start to make
is
the point,
now
you'll be
today
like,
as we
well,
speak.
blah blah blah. But
Matt,
in
Matt.
public, she's always
Today,
I don't even know what traditional means, but I don't feel
what
like
I mean is,
like
like if you boyfriend and
traditional Euro
girlfriend, you
colonistic.
are monogamous together. We are together. We are boyfriend and girlfriend. It is just us. That's it. No one else. No one else. That's it.
At a time.
at one time, right? But I don't know. Isn't that what everyone does when
No,
they go
No,
together?
no,
you don't. It don't have to. That's
Oh
all.
no,
no.
It don't
no,
have
no, no, no. I'm saying that's okay. A monogamous relationship. Yes, I participate in
not even
monogamous
tradition, but don't
relationship
look on it. You
tradition.
definitely you
Yeah,
participate in relationships built on you and your partner's um, one-on-one understanding.
I'm a mono. Yeah, I'm a mono. I think that's what they call it. I'm a
Now,
mono.
a monogamous relationship is a little bit more detailed. People think it's just about that mono, and it's really a
It's
little deep.
not
A mono homogeneous farm is not one
Okay.
plant
right.
being grown.
Okay.
It's a type of way that the plants are being grown. So it's a lot of different plants growing, but they have just corn going right here instead of having corn,
Okay.
tomatoes, basil, et cetera, which is what an
Okay.
organic farm would be built
So
like.
what?
Oh, look at the
Monogeneous farm
organic.
would
So then
be,
what's monogamy then? No, I'm
huh?
confused. So what's
Look it
monogamy?
up. Look it up.
I
It's
already looked it up,
it's
but
having it's
they
having it's having
What's the definition? That's what I want to know.
a
ain't say nothing
relation.
about no damn corn. Hold on, let me look this shit up.
I know
Now.
he
No,
threw me off.
I'm just saying, thinking about it in a singular, that singular
I
way
know
like
I was
that
being funny. I know.
doesn't always mean that that's what it is. It means that you're choosing in a
So like
relationship.
literally, like you believe in a monogamous relationship, right? What I'm saying is that to me that's the most traditional. That is the,
Y'all putting words in my mouth. I didn't say I believe in nothing. I said this is what I do. The
that's what you
habit of having only one mate at a time.
right.
Right.
That's what you believe in.
That's what I do.
That's what you believe in. That's why you do it.
I won't say I believe in it. I
Wait a minute then. Wait a minute. If you don't believe in
Ah.
it, then why you doing it? If
because
you
that
don't believe
It's
in it, why don't you
complicated though,
pray?
Jewel. We can't move around. Yeah, yeah. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. So, do you believe? And I'm going to ask you a question now. Do you believe that you could have an open relationship, or because now you're saying it's almost as if your conditioning has has put you in a mindset to say like, I've tried these things, that's not going to work, so I'm just going to go with this. I don't really believe it, but I'm just going to do this because I think this is going to work the best
I think
for me.
I
Why are
think
you so honed up on not saying you believe in it?
because a belief to me is something that like I think this is what do you call a belief? Like this is my value,
Values.
core value, right? That monogamy is a core value. I don't want to say that.
It's not?
Not a core value, no. I
So
value
then
it.
why are your relationships your friends or we go together?
Because she don't trust,
I'll tell you why. I'll
excuse
tell
my
you.
language, she don't trust me.
I'll tell you why. Because no, don't stop being baby. But I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I've accepted my journey and how I came to be today. So I've been through some very traumatic shit dealing with men. I've been through traumatic things and family, friends, and other. For me and my safety, and for me to feel safe around a man, especially naked, especially whatever,
Gotcha.
vulnerable, intimate, all of the extra other people sounds great, sounds like a good time, but I don't think that's safe for me. Had I not had some experiences, had I been able to do something different, I probably would have because I'm a pretty free spirit. I'm not that cut and dry, but when it comes to what do you call it, romantic relationships, you have to have sex, right? So
Yeah.
for me, the sexual part, I'm not too cool on multiple people in the same length of time. I can't do that.
Could you deal with
Um,
somebody? Could you deal with somebody that you're having sex with just one person, like you're monogamously intimate sexually, but could you be talking to other people, or are you just like, I'm concentrating
I
my energy
I
right
would
here?
absolutely be able to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely. But it's the sexual part, right? That is like probably the
I
most
agree.
vivid part. And just being real open about it. Like I wouldn't want to do that with other folks. But the chemistry part, the relationship part, and all of that, yeah, I could definitely have more than one person. I just don't think that I've ever tried it or ran into somebody or happenstance ran into somebody that was okay with that or even brought that to my attention, but that's just how it is. It might be conditioning, but it's more for me. It is a little bit of a conditioning, but it comes from a different place. It's for when you accept yourself, you do things to like protect yourself and
Absolutely.
keep yourself whole. So that works for me. in that way when it works. You know what I mean?
Right, right. I
That's
No,
what
really
I,
believe it's
I
about
that's
trust.
why I asked.
I tell Matthew all the time, like if I could trust that other humans would make sure I am protected, safe, like
right.
my body's safe, and we are
Mhm.
safely maneuvering, then I probably wouldn't have a lot of these labels out here. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel as though we have gotten to a place where I can trust men enough to
Nah.
be physically safe. But some, yes. But
Some, but yeah,
but
I
there's
mean,
still
I
an
love kids,
ego.
love
There's
y'all, but
there's still an ego thing you have to fight with humans.
I
So
can't mess with my life
so
like
for
that.
me, it's like I kind of shift what I'm looking for person to person.
Okay, I can agree with that, and I actually agree with most of the stuff you say about relationships. I'm not that traditional.
I know you're not.
I just know safety wise, like I can't get down like that. It's
Right.
not. It's
No,
not.
and that's gonna be a whole nother talk when we go into like
Yeah.
breaking down the types of relationships
Mhm.
and like how we can build thoroughly all relationships. Because at the end of the day, communication is key, but taking the time to learn from each other is
Yeah.
even more key after you communicate things. If someone's not open and willing to learn
Mhm.
about another person or just learn something, I think that's a downfall in itself. Like I've been in a situation where it was so cut and dry after the fact
Right.
that we had so much communication before the fact that I'm like, this should have been addressed.
Yeah.
But it
Right.
wasn't until you felt like you heard something that you didn't like and it
Right.
wasn't according to your. That's why Koya was asking you about your belief or
Right.
your own, because it may not be. If it's a belief, then you need to stick to it. Should be upfront. If it's something that
Yeah.
you're doing as a way of like
Safeguard.
a
Mhm.
safeguard,
It's
then it's
safeguard.
something that you can evaluate though. Like, is it time to let this safeguard down? Or some things are just up. There's like, this is it.
Because
No,
that was such a
no,
small moment. That was such a small moment. But the fact that you had that reaction when I said belief, I was like, oh, I was like, okay, and now I gotta ask her because I
No,
was
I ain't
like,
no belief. No, not at all. I believe relationships can exist in whatever form the people in the relationships want them to exist. I just don't personally, the demographic that I am and the demographic of men that I seem to be attracted to for the
yeah,
most part,
for sure.
that ain't gonna work all the way. You know what I mean? And I think
Okay.
I'm getting to the
and that's
point.
the end of the show.
I think I'm
Yeah.
getting to the point. I think I'm getting to the
Thank you,
point
ladies and
where
gentlemen. Good night.
I just think I'm getting to the point where like that makes sense to me. Like, okay, monogamy, yes, but I don't know, might be something different. You never know. But I just look at people like I believe in what I can actually offer. Right, that's how I feel.
That's
So
real.
I can do a myriad of things. I'm not a
Right.
one trick pony, but
Right.
I also understand how complex people are. So I'm
I
not
get it.
shocked when somebody's like, oh, I have 4 people that I'm in rotation with. Oh, well, good for you. I personally cannot do that. No judgment, no shade. I
Because
can't.
everybody went off about the whole Jada and Will jump, and I was just like, well, we don't know the situation. And then once I found out the situation, I was like, oh, that was normal.
And then
Like,
why should y'all care if they good?
but also, yeah, why do you care right now when we going all through all the stuff we going through right
Why
now?
do you even care about
Why do y'all care about
what?
what they doing?
Or have they not
Because people
shown
are
nothing
going
but
through the
love
same
for
shit
each
and they
other?
don't
But
have no.
they made what's so funny? People made it such a big thing, and then she gets up there, and it's basically like, okay, they was broke up, and then she got into something, and all right.
I'll tell you why everybody's going crazy and stuff because people are going through the same shit
Mm,
and they're not able to express all of that. And
Right.
people are literally going through that, like in their marriages, in their relationships,
absolutely,
happening, and they don't have the wherewithal to address it to the person that they're in a relationship with, let alone the world. So people are, it's projection. It's
absolutely.
projection. There's a bunch of women saying, how could she do that? There's a bunch of men saying, how could she do that? There's
Right.
all these opinions, but when you really think about it, it's all just projection.
Right.
It's,
It is. But projection is powerful.
it is.
Projection is super powerful.
We live in a country full of projecting motherfuckers. So,
And it doesn't matter how much you tell somebody something. I have told men that I've talked to, like, this is what I believe in. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm with. This is what I'm not with. This is where I'm at. And it could be far fetched for them, but I still have to do so much convincing. Like I have to be like, no, I'm being serious. This is what I believe in. Like I'm being serious. This is I'm not gonna backtrack. Like, but it's like we have a lot of mistrust. We have caused a lot of mistrust within, just the male and female demographic
mm-hmm.
in our community in general. Like we just
Yeah.
so skittish. We're
Well,
so skittish.
what
Like
came
my
first?
parents, and like my parents were weird like that. Like my mom is not a very high strung female in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And, part of her was like, should I have like looked through his stuff more? Like, she
No, mama, don't look through his stuff. No,
and
Miss Lodi.
she didn't teach us to do that. Like we don't do that,
But that saved her a lot of stress and drama and trauma. The things came to the light
but what happens, Matt,
regardless, right?
but what happens with that, Matt, is sometimes men take that and they hear that and it kind of becomes this like, well,
I can do what I
you
want
should
to
have
do.
cared more. You should have. You
That's
you
just
should have.
deflecting.
You
That's
should
just
have looked.
deflecting
You
on their
should have
own.
Care
looked through my
more.
phone. I'm
That's just
like,
deflecting on their own
Exactly.
BS. That's just deflecting because
Mm-mm.
honestly, that's saving yourself. That's saving yourself from stressing.
Let me tell
Why
you
do you need to stress? I don't want to stress. If it come out into my face
exactly.
and I'm presented with it, guess what? I'm gonna deal with it right there.
Mm-mm.
You're gonna find out
I,
what the problem
I'm
is.
with that.
Until then,
I'm with
I'm
that.
happy. I'm like, what's up? Hey,
why
everything
do
I
people
want.
good.
do
I,
that?
I wish everybody had that
I
mentality
don't have time.
because
I'm trying to do other shit. I ain't got
Why do
time.
people
I'm
yeah,
do
sorry about
that?
the person that just can't help his real.
It's a full time job to go look through somebody's stuff. Like, bruh,
it's
I'm not
it's a
doing it.
full time job to do anything off of a suspicion.
I mean, first of all,
Like,
you're gonna find something that you don't like.
but my thing is, if and this is
Right,
my this is where
right.
I get untraditional. Okay,
A smile.
if I got to do all
A
that, I
hello.
don't want you.
How you been?
Yeah,
I can't control who contact me. I'd have been in a situation, man. Look, somebody hit me on the messenger. Bing, that joint come on my phone. Number one, my phone is open. I don't lock my phone. I don't have
right.
no password on it. Even my best friends, both of y'all, done say, Matt, you need to lock your phone. Da da da. Security reasons. Otherwise, I say all my security stuff is secure. I don't care. I don't like having to put the passcode when I need to use a phone. That's why I don't have one. Period. But I'm also not worried about nobody going through my phone. But something popped up on the phone. It's an old girlfriend. It's an ex girlfriend from man. Now I want to say what year is this? Shit, 20 years ago. Shit.
That's what be happening though.
You know what I'm saying? She was just calling and saying, "What's up?" Now, very beautiful woman. All right, you see a beautiful face pop up on the Giants Messenger. Bing. Hey Matt, how's everything going? But because we talk, you know what I'm saying? Like I had a very good bond with her daughter, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So, um, her don't pop up. Man, this don't. Why is she contacting you? Boo, boo, boo. Now, I had said I was going to meet that person when I spoke to them because I was excited to see them. I said I was going to
Right.
meet that person for lunch and hang out or whatever. I didn't know I had to fucking give you an itinerary. Oh, I'm going to go see lunch with this person, and this person hit me up, and da 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 da.
I'm
Boom,
not
boom, boom, dot
giving any
com.
human
It
an
was. I was told I was being
not doing.
deceitful because I talked to a person that I was exes with who are now very good friends.
Yep.
We are no longer talking at any type of way. Was coming in town, lives out of town. It was why they were hitting me, and we hadn't seen each other, and wanted to try to meet up. And I was like, sure. I
Right.
didn't think I had to discuss that with my significant other at the time.
Right.
That it was because I didn't think it was that serious because I don't think there was nothing of it. I wasn't thinking about anything but the fact that this is my friend. I'm just gonna try to have lunch during my break or something like that. And he alluded.
But here's the thing that I wish people would stop doing because I've learned I've learned it.
Okay.
But now I'm just vocal about it now. I think I've been learned it. Um you cannot compromise who you are regardless of what is going on with the other person. And usually that's when things fall apart
Every time. That's when both of y'all yelling at me.
because 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 what you was talking about earlier, Koya, the conditioning and this whole idea of traditional,
Right.
it comes with so many strings that I personally don't believe in. I am not going to just change who I am because you don't like it, or it made you feel uncomfortable when a situation came up.
Right.
This is what it is, bro. and, and vice versa. That's who you are. Oh, okay. Cool. Whether I want to deal with it or not,
I
that's
think it's just weird to put restrictions on human beings when we are still trying to figure out how to maneuver as human beings.
Perception is something and nothing depending on the audience.
mm,
Right.
woo, facts.
No,
And
that's true. And
Right.
and so I think we put
All how they see it.
these strange like human restrictions on humans.
yeah,
And I think it's so weird because I was asking somebody the other day, I was like, so like you expect that no human that you're with will ever have a deep connection with another human that you don't know yet? Like you think you will never come across somebody whose energy feeds to your energy in a different way? And I'm not even talking about sexually. I'm just talking about
yeah.
Just feed
on
you.
a bigger level. Like, and so I think it's so weird that we have these strange like rules. And like
We have to stop. We have to stop
I
not
don't even
feeding
respect
the
like
connection.
loyalty to our relationship, not
hmm
so much the rules.
Right.
Like
We need to
respect me
start
as your friend.
we need to respect the feeling of energy. Like, okay, the reason why when somebody connects to you on those levels of different things and the energy connects, the reason
hmm
why sometimes that leads to like some sort of sexual arousal is because most of those things that do that are can arouse us sexually. It's us to
Right,
internally to say, you know what, this isn't a time for me to be sexually aroused, or but I can use that energy
right.
for,
hmm
we can try to build around that energy. There's a connection here, but I'm in a situation. I cannot afford to be sexually aroused by,
See you next
but that is
lifetime.
what.
Hit the Erica by doing that ass. See you next
Right.
lifetime. Like
That's exactly what she was saying. That's exactly what it's like. Damn,
that.
that shit right there, but we can't go there. But I can still talk to you. I can still feel that energy. I don't have to take it all the way because
This
sometimes
is
the
why
energy is
I
ultimate.
love Music Soul Child. Music Soul Child has written some of the most realistic men and women.
He's awesome. I
He
love
really he has some of the most like realistic men and women interactions in his songs.
Yes, the Just Friends song was everything. I was
Every
just loving everything about that song when it came out. I still love it. He made
right.
another one years later, the Buddy song. Yes,
Yes.
it.
Because that's
That,
real. Those are real things that happen. If you are with men and women, if you're gonna if especially if there's a group of you, at some point somebody in that mix is going to have a connection with each other. That's why y'all are around each other.
mhm.
The whole reason spirit brought you in the circle.
Energies attract, and so when that happens, I think the best thing to do is to figure out what type of energy is there, and
Yeah,
then make the decision based on your situation. And that's what people get messed up at.
right.
Based on your situation. Okay, you might think he cute and that's nice and you like that. But if you got somebody waiting on you at home, that's
Hit
when you
me.
put on your adult thinking cap and be like, you know what?
You know what? This
I'm
ain't
going
gonna work. And
let me
that
think about
way,
it.
it's okay to have those feelings. We got to stop
That's
letting people feel
fine.
like you can't feel. It's okay. Talk to it. Be like, honey, come in the house. Like, babe, I met someone. We got a real connection. Like, yeah, like it's
Yeah,
really
people think Will and Jada
talk
are
about it.
weird, but they get it right. They be talking to
I
each
don't think
other.
it's weird. I think you would feel like a real person, if you could sit down in front of your significant other that you're supposed to be monogamous with and say, I met somebody today and I was just like, wow,
Let's not say supposed to be monogamous with, because that's only depending on your relationship.
or whatever.
If that's not part of the outline, it's different.
Right. You just in a connection. You're in a relationship with
Yeah,
someone.
whatever relationship it is. I just feel like there's too much ego on one side or the other for people to be honest and open and saying, hey, we've been going through some shit. I kind of want to somewhere else.
I mean, but here's the reality of it. If you believe in things like soulmates, or so soulmates have like a breakdown of things that come with it. Soulmates, twin flames, all these things, right?
Yeah.
The reality of it is you have people for different parts of your life. You have karmic soulmates who, unfortunately, most of us end up with our karmic soulmates.
Because of that. Because of how the connection.
In a bad way. It's not, doesn't mean bad karma. It means whatever you didn't finish in this life, y'all still had some things you had to finish up with each other. Now, there are things that are a little different when you go into like the twin flame idea and stuff like that. I can talk about that on my unicorn page at some point.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up with you. I don't know what that means. I like
but there are soulmates that are friends. There are soulmates that are our karmic soulmates are usually who you kind of end up in a relationship with. We have multiple karmic soulmates.
Mm-hmm. And this is why I say that paradigm is so important, Koya.
It is.
That proximity soulmate stuff. People don't even understand it yet. They talk about it. Continue.
Yep. Yeah. So we throw soulmate around a lot. Like we say that a lot. It is not a relationship that is based on romantic ties. It is based on your soul tie.
Exactly.
If you have a soul contract with that person in a past life to begin this life, and it's just basically like your parents are a soul contract, your grandparents are a soul contract, your siblings, your best friends, and you may not have been in the same relationship that you are with them now that you were in a past life. So when you think about what happens in the womb with mothers and things like that, and what's kind of passed through us, and all these other things, and we talk about generational trauma, and the reason like it's important to understand that is I think that's where we've messed up. If we understand that everything is so much bigger than the flesh that we are, that we won't be so honed up on trying to own another human being.
That's kind of like what Haitian's talking about. It's like, you're not dead or ugly. So what's wrong with a discussion? Like, who knows what can happen? Bring it up.
Don't
communicate.
That's be out partying, and then you making out with a joke, and then you come home and put your tongue and your mouth on me, and I didn't know what happened.
Right.
Like, don't do that to me.
Right. But having the conversation, simply just saying, like, listen, whatever's going on, like I've gotten into it with Haisha about her stuff going on with her peoples. Okay. Not in a bad way, but just sis. We can have that conversation
like we're supposed to have, though, between friends.
Able to have that conversation with my significant other as well. Like, look, we need to talk because this is what I'm seeing on what you're going through. Don't know what I'm going through. What do we need to do right now in this moment to remedy it? Or if there's this idea of somebody else you done seen or saw, we can talk about that. But you don't just go do it.
Right.
Like, if that's not how we roll, if you know that you're not going to be okay with that, and you don't want that done to you, is really how I feel about it.
Right.
Like, if you cool with somebody doing that to you, then I can kind of understand why you would just go ahead and do something like that. But if you would be upset,
it'll be the same people that ain't cool with it. That's
they are not cool with it. They move.
How dare you date someone?
I hate it.
And that's my whole thing.
It makes me so angry. It makes me so angry.
People don't operate
that way.
People do not operate on their actual, because what I'm learning now, especially like in therapy and stuff like that she's teaching me, like, values, standards are coming from within. That is what you value. What are your standards? And if you don't have them down pat and you don't really know, then you need to go explore and find them.
But how is it that people get upset about the things that happen to them in their relationship that they feel like is a betrayal, you broke the rules, whatever? But I feel like I don't know. I just feel like we as humans maneuver so strange, where it's like we'll move one way in a situation, but the whole time you are like going off about these other humans that did the same thing to you, but you're maneuvering this way, have no issues with it. Then you bring it to that person's attention and they looking at you like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, didn't you just cut off A, B, C, D, and E because they did this, this, and this, and now you moving this way and you doing this to this person, but it's not happening to you, so it's not the same thing.
Yes, it's something. What do they call that? It's not projection. It's something else.
You're a hypocrite.
It's hypocrisy, but it's like a reason. It's a reason why you repeat behavior that was done. It's like that's how you I guess learn it from how it's just trauma passed down or whatever you want to call it.
Like, I just think it's weird that
you
so
enact what happened to you.
Right. Yeah. I just think it's weird to get angry about it. So like I maneuver this way. Every decision that I make, I think about this. If this were to happen to me on this side, on the flip side, would I die? Like, I mean, that's how I maneuver. Like, I'd be like, how would I feel? Would I get over it? Would I be okay?
I think I can get over it.
I really maneuver that way. So it may look like I maneuver crazy, but for the most part, a lot of it is stuff that I kind of wouldn't trip about anyway.
I think I get over it quickly, physically. I'll get over it physically. I'm not physically upset with you. I'm not acting a fool on you for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm mad for my 2-3 days, and then I gotta go back to normal because that's for me.
Right.
But once you done did something that was just like ground rules,
right?
It doesn't mean that it's over, right? Because I used to say that when I was younger, thinking like that's what it is, but that's not necessarily true.
No, now you have a conversation because you're a grown up, but
yeah, now it's like, all right, let's work through it. Okay, let's see what's going on. But in my core, you done took something out that need to be there. I need to be able to trust you, and when I don't have it, things are wrong.
I think that when those things happen to us, those things in particular, they happen as a reminder to the things that we broke promises for ourselves. See,
absolutely, so that's what it is. The mirror.
We receive those energies. I really do feel like it's pretty much like this is a reminder. You remember you said you didn't like this.
It's a mirror.
And this is what you got. So are you with it or not?
It's a mirror. It's literally like the energy is slapping you in the face, like, hey, wake up. You said and you are this, and you're over here putting, it's like you're trying to put these AA batteries in here and you're supposed to have AAA. So I don't know why this doesn't work. You can keep playing with it if you want to, but
and that's why I all the time, like women who try to quote unquote change men.
No, you can't do that.
To see, like, I believe in. I'm kind of like a cheerleader to the things that you have already stated you wanted to do in the first place, right? So I only base people's goals off of things they have spoken about.
I base it on what they actually did.
No, what I mean is
what they're doing.
If they're saying, "Oh, this is what I'm trying to do with this, and this," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, true, that's what's up." So I'm not the type of person that's ever going to shift them into doing something that had nothing to do with what they were talking about.
Right.
So there are people who are changing people completely. So, it may look the same to a human, though. It may look like I'm pushy or I'm trying to get you to better yourself, but really I'm just trying to get you to remember what you promised yourself.
And you are a saint for that. You are such a saint.
Accountability, like you said, Haisha, accountability. A conversation costs nothing. Don't assume.
You're such a saint.
You think I'm a saint, but I do it for all my friends. So my relationships are also my friendships. So I do it for my siblings and my family and my parents and because the reality of it is it's important for us to respect each other as humans and what our limits are and where we can go and where we can be encouraged to do. And that's where it's at. And that's why I also think it's important to have these male and female relationships because it gives us that balance. That feminine masculine balance is super important.
And also just walks of life. Everybody's different. Everybody has some input. So especially if you trust this person as your friend, your homeboy, your the brother, cousin, like these are your people. So they're gonna know you, but they also have their own experiences to bring into the fold. And yeah, Haitian said accountability. I agree. Yeah, that's just what it looks like to me is hey, this is what you
Ooh,
said. This is what you was talking about for all this time. And so I don't know why you're going this way, but as your friend, I would like, to put it to your attention that maybe you need to go back to your notebook and read what you wrote because that's what you wrote. You know what I mean? Like, and
And
if it's changed, then hey, it's changed. But I didn't hear you say anything about it changing. I'm just watching what you're doing versus what you said, and it's not matching up. Like I'm with it. I've had that conversation probably 10,000 times in my lifetime
I
with
believe
mm,
several
y'all
different type of people. I've had that conversation with Matthew.
yeah.
and that's what I was about to say. I believe you both just hit it on the head. Like
Uh,
that's like the final note to this whole thing. Like
Yep.
accountability. Like y'all make me accountable, but for me,
mhm.
even when I'm wrong, y'all don't just hold me accountable for me and back me up to just because you're my
Mhm.
friend.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you take the other person into consideration. And I think
Right.
that's what we talk about. Y'all both hit it, the balance, taking each other
And
into
just on that note,
consideration
what you just said,
and
Matt, on
understanding
the
that
flip
that
side,
your friend is trying to build a friendship and a
yep,
relationship. You want to help them. Even if you may not agree all the way, you still going to a positive male and female relationship or whatever, a positive relationship is going to try to help you be better for whatever your endeavors are,
It's
whether you
supposed to,
agree
yeah.
with your endeavors or not.
absolutely.
It's supposed to, yeah.
And just to add in to end on that note is I feel like every this modern day feminist that exists would be mad about this, but I'm gonna say for on some real like gender things, like having a male friend that you can trust, that you feel protected. And
It's,
there are things that men can do that I don't want to do. I don't care to know how to do. I don't
Vice,
want to do it. I don't
vice
want to know
versa
how to
of
do it. I want you to do it.
sexuality.
And
Right.
I appreciate
gender.
having Matthew there because sometimes he has to stand in for, other
There,
roles.
there is a very precious jewel of having different genders around you. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think that we kind of neglect expressing that. Like that is also a perk of having a friend that is the opposite sex, is because there are things that I be like, Matt, you're gonna have to do this one. Like I can't.
Yeah, I agree. I
I
agree.
mean,
I love it.
even in the business with the band, I've had to be like, Matt, you're gonna have to handle this venue. You're gonna have to handle this situation. Like I know where I'm at and where I'm not. Like
Mhm.
I know what I'm gonna have to deal with that day or not. And so every day I don't have to fight. I don't want to fight every day. So
I
I
think
would
I
my
love that.
best
I think
friend
we're
and
better off as friends. Yeah,
uh,
I think we're all better off understanding that friendships are probably the most important thing before you even get to the relationship part.
yep,
Like I just think that's the foundation period for a
period. And
period.
until
I
people
think that's what dating's
understand
supposed to be.
friendships,
Dating's supposed to
until
be.
people understand those friendships,
When
how
we
to
be
build
friends,
real friendships, they gotta build. You gotta build real friendships to even
Yeah,
understand how to be in a healthy anything.
anything.
I agree.
Well, this was lovely, guys. Thank
Yeah.
you guys for having me.
I appreciate
I
you.
won't be on the next one because I don't want, to go viral. So
Oh Lord.
I'll be in the comments.
Look, and we're gonna have to bring Julian on one day because he over here like, so I missed my interview. Like, what happened?
Oh,
He's like, do I
Julian.
need to interview to come on? I said, we will invite you on. We will.
You should
invite
invite him to the other part of the series. It's talking about these fellas. I
We
can't wait.
got we got we got parts of the series for
well, we
everybody.
about to break down some series and that. I'm gonna have to go organize this because yeah.
Don't back out because I'm
All
gonna
And
right.
I
find out right
appreciate
now.
everybody, like always. We appreciate everybody for coming through, everybody for being here. Thanks, Lily, for coming. You know what I'm saying?
And thank you everybody. Okay, yes. I know. I'm sorry. This was probably a good one for you to actually come on because we were talking about that. But we are also probably going to have to talk again about exes being friends. That's not like we really only touched on bits and pieces because it was more so about platonic female male friendships.
Right. I think we may do another one that's just about exes and like,
Transformative friendships.
there we go. And on that note, we're gonna bid you all adieu because
Thank
we
you
appreciate
guys.
ours. Thank you, the Once Creative Group. We love y'all. We want you to find your wonderland always, and we want you to be
Share, like, subscribe on my YouTube and
all that.
share and all that.
Share it. You know what I'm saying? Let your friends know. Start watch parties, man. If y'all interested in being a part of the joint, anybody can be a part of the vidcast. So don't be
Yes.
afraid. And yes, we'll get you in.
And
Doing
give us some topics. If y'all want us to check out some different topics, let us know.
if you know some experts on certain things that you don't know,
Yes.
we'll
Any
host them and
expert,
let them talk all they
we will
want.
host them and let them talk for sure.
All right. So
All right, guys. Bye.
peace and love.